And a very pleasant good evening, and we welcome you to Saddleback College Football here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Tonight, the Gauchos continue their conference schedule with a date with the Orange Coast College Pirates. I am Jeff Stoynoff, along with the entire SoCalCollegeSports.com team, and let's bring in our guest tonight, Brad Hoyseth, the voice of the Gauchos, joining us here once again. And Brad, thanks so much for sitting in. Happy to have you here. And we were here just 13 days ago watching the Gauchos play, and it looked for all the world like the Gauchos were a little bit overmatched this season and that this season was maybe going to fall away. But then a bye week and a trip to Southwestern College, and now the Gaucho season may be looking a little different.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you how things can change at this level really on a dime. I mean, you know, most people were leaving the Gauchos for dead. They go down to Southwestern, which game which I think most people kind of assumed was going to be a tough battle. And the Gauchos took it to the Jaguars, 39-20, biggest win of the season. And now you have to say they kind of hold their own destiny. I mean, they win out, they go to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, I think took it to the Jaguars, too, is one of the understatements of this season so far. They dominated a Jaguar defense that had been lights out up until that point in the season, up to and including a date with Fullerton where they only allowed 19 points to the Hornets.
Yeah, I really think it was the emergence of Robbie Patterson, really his best game of the year. Patterson, 23 of 30, also had 110 yards rushing. So, I mean,
yeah, almost
that was
400 yards combined.
Yeah, they really needed that.
We are underway. The Gauchos won the toss but deferred, so the Pirates will have it first. The return out near the 25-yard line. They'll spot it at about the 23. So a 13-yard return, and the Pirates will go to work. They come in under first-year head coach Bubba Gonzalez with a record of 1-5 on the season. So the Pirates in a struggle, but boy, they would love nothing more than to upend the apple cart here for the Gauchos and maybe knock them out of an unbeaten conference record here and take the destiny out of their hands.
Yeah, I think the key for Saddleback is what they do on defense on first and second down, because once you get Orange Coast into a third and long situation, the quarterback's only completing 40% of the passes.
Yeah,
and they just can't allow that to happen, Orange Coast.
Pete Mitchell and Nathan West have each had their struggles, both seeing significant time this season. They start in an I formation, first and 10 from the 23. They give it to the up back, and a pickup of about 4 yards. We'll set up a second down and 6. And that was Colton Larseval up in the box, I think, reading the scouting report that you were just giving.
Yeah, they're going to
the first to get there.
They're going to run another read option on with their quarterbacks. Well, they're not afraid to keep it. The problem is, can they get enough yards on first and second down so they don't have to pass it on third?
It's a two-headed monster at halfback, Ahmad Lewis, who gets the carry here for about a yard, and Dadrian Ellis. Both combining, they both went for a combined 124 yards last week in a loss to Golden West College. But certainly the Pirates are going to rely on trying to run the football first and see if they can get something going off of that. But they face an immediate third and long. It's a 3rd and 8 from the 27.
This is where the real mystery begins for Orange Coast. I mean, they have 7 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions on the year. The quarterbacks have just not been efficient enough for the Pirates to win enough football games.
Well, and to be fair, I think they don't have a lot of playmakers on the outside this season. The throw from Mitchell as he threads it in out shy of the first down marker. The pass complete, but about 2 yards shy. It's out to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, originally the referee on the far side of the field looked as if he was going to mark that as a first down, and then the linesman on the near side marked it out at the 33. And
catch the replay there, and you see Jordan Clark make that catch in traffic before Larseval lowered the boom, and he is about a yard shy of first down yardage, so a 4th down and 1. Meanwhile, we have a Gaucho player still down on the field inside the 20. Let's take a quick break. Come back. You're watching Saddleback Gaucho football here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Punting unit on for the Orange Coast Pirates, and that'll bring on Christopher Bartolich. Bartolich has had an outstanding season with a punting average up at 40 yards per punt, among the very best in the entire SCFA. So Bartolich takes the snap, gets this one away, good kick, angling it toward the near sideline, and it's out of bounds inside the 30. Well, I don't exactly know where he ended up spotting that one. We'll have to look.
Looks like it's about the 35.
Okay, yeah, about the 35-yard line, so a little too much angle on it.
Well, now the big question is which Gaucho offense is going to show up. I mean, one week they're good, the next week they're not so good. Canyons, they started out, they weren't very good. Then they were pretty good against Ventura, and then they took some steps backwards and forwards, and, then finally last week it seemed as if they kind of looked like the Gauchos of old.
Well, that was a point that you made a couple of weeks ago when we were talking, that this is a pretty complex offense. This is a big turnover season in terms of a lot of new faces for Coach Mark McElroy. So there's a bit of a learning curve here as they set up the quick screen for a gain of 6. Finding Brandon Reeves. Reeves was the leading receiver over the first couple of weeks, and then kind of fell off to the side. Might have been battling some injuries, we're not sure. We didn't see a lot of Brandon Reeves, but he appears to be back into the fold with 5 catches last week.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player 2 years ago at San Clemente, and they've been kind of wondering when he's going to have that big breakout game.
A little stutter step behind the line and a gain of a couple. Jerome Johnson, fresh off a 3-touchdown performance last week in the victory at Southwestern.
Guys, you talk about the Dr. Jekyll and Hyde effect here for Saddleback College. Let's not forget the teams that they played early on in the season. Pretty good. Canyon's one of the top teams in the state.
Yeah, Canyons, Ventura, and then Mount Sac that we had as well.
Yeah, Mount Sac's kind of a mystery. We don't really know what's going on there this year.
Well, we don't know what's going on from top to bottom in the SCFA. I think they have the parity. I think they have that pretty well down.
Yeah, even in Northern California, I don't think any of the top teams up north are undefeated. There's everybody's got a loss.
3rd down and 2. Patterson with good protection, guns it and completes it to Barry for first down yardage to the 49-yard line.
And that's one of those plays right there that they just were not connecting on over the first 4 or 5 weeks. That's a staple of the Gaucho offense. You get into 3rd and short, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. They've always got that little guy that runs a slant pattern that's been able to make a play. It was really missing the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
And what a welcome sight that is. And you have the sense here early on, and we are less than 4 minutes in here. This is a little different Robbie Patterson. I think you can sense a lot of confidence developing in Robbie Patterson, and certainly last week has to be a big part of that.
Well, one would hope, yeah.
They keep it on the ground, good yardage, into Pirate territory down to the 45-yard line. 6-yard rush. There is a flag down. First flag of the night. This will go against Saddleback. So take the 6 yards away, and instead it will be first down and 15.
Yeah, and we talked about this in the Mount Sac game. It is a complex offense. It's always been traditionally one of the better offenses in the state, and before the season they have 2 quarterbacks sign early. They have a running back sign earlier, and their top wide receiver returning really comes up with kind of a freak injury, and then all of a sudden you look around and it's all a bunch of new faces.
Down to 9 on the play clock. Patterson with Johnson in the backfield. Here's the snap. 4-man rush, good protection. Patterson nowhere to go. Starts to roll, throws on the run, looking for Barry, and Barry can't find the handle.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad play, really. It wasn't a bad throw. It just looked as if the wide receiver.
Yeah, that was actually Bama Smith, so DeJour Smith couldn't make the sliding catch. A 2nd down and 15 coming up from the Saddleback 44. Patterson on a designed roll, under pressure, dumps it off to Johnson. Johnson is hit after a short gain, another flag down. This is going to go for about 3 yards.
Yeah, that play was destroyed by the defensive tackle. He just got in there, and Patterson just quickly flipped it out to the running back, but let's see what the penalty is here.
Lamar Dixon moving up on the stop. Blocking in the back on Smith. Another 10-yard penalty the Pirates will accept, and now it's 2nd down and 25, and the Gauchos started out with a promising beginning here on this drive, but now they're heading in the wrong direction.
It's one of those things that the Gauchos have been pretty good at this year. The last few years they had been penalized a lot, and then this year they've been pretty mistake-free when it comes to the Hankies.
2nd down and 25. Patterson steps up and guns it, finds Barry at midfield. He is hit immediately, but a pickup of 17 yards on the play.
That's a nice little play by Barry right there. He just found the soft spot in the zone and just sat down, as they say, and Patterson throws a strike.
Alaman and Atencio on the stop. But Patterson flashes the arm, and now it's a more manageable 3rd down and 9 from the 49 of Orange Coast. Patterson has the snap. Straight drop. Steps up again. Good pocket. Leaping catch is made. 1st down for the Gauchos. And that was Reeves with a tremendous fingertip grab.
Yeah, Reeves is a guy that he can do a little everything. When he was at San Clemente, he was a running back and kind of turned into a little slot receiver, and he got good hands.
2nd down and 25. They try Smith on the jet sweep, picking his way forward, but he stood up after a gain of a couple. Soto and Alleman again in on the stop, and Alleman early on all over the place from his linebacker spot here for the Pirates. Zeke Alleman. They'll give him a yard to the 37, where it's 2nd down and 9. 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Patterson sets up the screen to Johnson, looking for a block, but he's hit and stopped. Atencio with a good open field tackle at the 35, a 2-yard gain, and another 3rd down coming up for the Gauchos, who've already converted a couple of 3rd downs as we take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, right tackle for the Gauchos there. Just a little bit slow getting out to make the block, and good play on defense there for Orange Coast, because that would have been a big gain had he gotten out there and made that block.
Back to live action on a 3rd and 7. Little movement again from the Pirate defensive line. 11 on the play clock. Gauchos have already converted a couple of 3rd downs on this opening drive, eating up the clock here in the 1st quarter. And now Patterson's got to take a timeout. That'll be the Gauchos' first timeout. 8:44 to go in the opening quarter. You're watching Saddleback Gaucho football on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Happy you've joined us, everybody, live from Mission Viejo High School, Saddleback and Orange Coast College. You can catch SoCalCollegeSports.com on Twitter at SoCalCollegeSPO. Also on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. Be sure to check out the website, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com. Game 1 of 4 this weekend, Friday Night Football here on SoCal College Sports.
Third down and 7 from the 35 of Orange Coast. They'll empty the backfield. Patterson has the snap. Blitz coming. Patterson with time. Rainbows the near side looking for Berry. Leaping catch by Berry for a touchdown.
That's just a beautiful play by Berry. He made a great adjustment. The ball was a little bit underthrown. He just went up over the defender and made a big play.
Well, this all starts, Brad, with good protection against the blitz. Perfect pocket for Patterson. And then Berry goes to work. 6th touchdown reception of Yasser Berry, who's coming off a very quiet performance last week as the Gauchos exploded at Southwestern. But he only had 1 catch for 5 yards as you get a little bit closer look. Meanwhile, they'll set up and go for 2, and they've got it.
Yeah, they set up with the old swinging gate formation, and Orange Coast just didn't adjust. That's something the Gauchos like to do on their first touchdown in almost every game.
Yeah.
Routinely, they go with the swinging gate, see if they can catch the defense.
Yep, and they caught
surprise, and it seems to work every time.
Pirates not ready for that at all, and it's an easy 2-point conversion as Sifo Mailangi ends up on the receiving end there of the short pass, and it's an 8-0 lead for the Gauchos as Patterson finds Berry. We'll keep it here, get you ready for the Pirates' return. And, you know, obviously at this point, I'm sure that the Gaucho coaches don't want to get ahead of themselves, but we alluded to it at the top, and you look at the schedule here, and with that victory over Southwestern, you get Orange Coast this week. This is a good start for the Gauchos, and I think high noon might be next week when they have to travel to Golden West, always a tough place to play, but you're looking if they can get to Golden West. And maybe down the road it's going to be them in Riverside. But obviously that's all a little bit in the future. But things really turned around, and we cannot emphasize enough the point that a couple weeks ago it did not look like the Gauchos had any way of even competing at all for a playoff position here in 2018. Corey Smith has the kick. He's out past the 20, and he's upended near the 25.
Well, if you're the Gauchos, Orange Coast has always been a great elixir, let's just say, because the Gauchos lead that lifetime series 28-13. They've won 4 in a row. I believe they're 14-4 now since Mark McElroy took over as quarterback. He's kind of had their number, and so I think they felt pretty good coming into this one. There's a long ways to go here, but certainly things look good early on.
Pirates come out for their second drive. Pete Mitchell with backs in the offset eye. Mitchell has receivers left and right. 8:30 to go in the opening quarter. The Gauchos go 65 yards for a touchdown on their first drive. Now Mitchell comes in under center. They keep it on the ground on 1st and 10 and going nowhere. This is Dadrian Ellis with his first carry, and he ran into a wall.
Yeah, the Gauchos, we mentioned it in the Mount Sac game, they're not really big up front. They're more of an east-west defense. They can go east and west, and that's why I was really interested to see what Orange Coast was going to do offensively, because they just don't throw the ball a lot, and they don't seem to have a big advantage up front with their offensive line either.
Turner Tonkovic on that stop, and Tonkovic is a guy who didn't figure prominently early in the season, but with an injury to Brumbaugh, he has really stepped up and become a big-time player. Here's a big play for the Pirates. All the way down to the 30. They go to the play action and burn the Gauchos as Clark has the long reception off the pass from Mitchell, finally brought down at the Saddleback 30.
Yeah, they burned the Gauchos. They also burned the color guy who was just talking about how they haven't been able to throw the ball all year.
46 yards as Mitchell finds Clark, and that's exactly what the Pirates needed, as the early going had been all Saddleback. But the big play, finding Clark.
Yeah, they're going to need some more of that, Orange Coast, because I think the Gauchos are going to probably send about 7-8 guys up at the line of scrimmage on almost every play.
Pitch to Ellis running left, a gain of a couple. Gage Roberson, the leading tackler for the Gauchos, among the first to get there. I made the point about Tonkovic really stepping up in recent weeks, and then Roberson has really been there all along. The linebacking core has been a real strength for the Gauchos this season.
Yeah, really, the defense hasn't been the problem thus far. I mean, like I said, they're a little bit undersized up front, and that gave them some problems down the stretch against Mount Sac. But the defense has had some moments where it's looked really good.
Mitchell looking over the middle and completes another pass down inside the 5-yard line.
I'm just going to quit talking at this point, by the way.
Giancarlo Mangi with the reception inside the 5. And what's interesting is the Pirates have had a lot of trouble getting a lot of big plays from anybody on the outside this season. Dylan Laurent leads the team in receptions, and he's been really the only player who's been able to consistently get open for the Pirates this season. And he's not even on the field right now, but it's Mangi and Clark with a couple of big plays. So perhaps things looking up for the Pirates. Certainly on this drive it is. Ellis trying to run left, and he is dragged down for a big loss on the play.
That's a nice penetration there by Tamba, who just came in unblocked, really, and just ran down a running back.
Yeah, from his defensive end spot.
Tom is saying you shouldn't be doing this, Ellis.
Sends the clear message. He can handle this running play. So it's 2nd and goal after a loss of 4. Back to the 8-yard line. Mitchell has the snap. Play action, quick throw in traffic and nearly intercepted.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the bugaboo with the Pirates all season long. As I mentioned earlier, 7 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions, and that was almost number 10 right there.
And this is just an ill-advised throw from Mitchell as Kofensis jumps that route and nearly had the ball. 3rd down and goal from the 8. And a difficult situation here for Bubba Gonzalez because the Pirates have really had no success running the football early, but this is an awful lot of traffic to be putting the ball up. We'll see how Mitchell does on a 3rd and goal from the 8. On a designed roll. Under pressure. Into the end zone.
That one is picked off, I believe.
No signal yet. And it's picked off. Colton Larceville.
Yeah, Larceville just stepped right in front of that pass. He threw it behind the wide receiver. You'll see it here on the replay.
Well, Larceville keeps his SoCalCollegeSports.com streak going. We've covered 3 Gaucho games this year, and Larceville's had a pick in all 3.
And he's number 3.
Yeah, that's
Don't do any more games.
What is that, quad 3s?
He needs one more game to hit quads.
He's got trips right now going to the river?
He does. So Larceville down in the end zone, so it's a touchback, and it gives it back to the Gauchos, and that's a crushing blow for the Pirates early. A couple of big plays. They got themselves on the doorstep, but they come up empty, and now the Gauchos, with the 8-0 lead, have it back. Handoff on the right side. A minimal gain.
Yeah, it's the second time the Gauchos have tried that. Neither time has it worked.
Jaden Scheiberl on the carry. And Scheiberl is a guy who, again, kind of like Tonkovich, didn't really seem to figure in the plans very much early in the season, but he has slowly but surely worked himself in. Last week, 6 carries for 41 yards, so he's given Mark McElroy some good work and starting to see some more action. They'll empty the backfield as Jefferson is in the game in the backfield. Patterson screening it out to Jefferson, but that play well diagnosed. It's going nowhere.
Yeah, that's the play right there. If you're the Gauchos, those are the ones you want to watch out for, because there was really nowhere for that play to go. I mean, you'll see he throws out in the flat. There's 3 guys there.
Yeah.
And
Zeke Alleman, who hasn't been fooled by much of anything so far tonight, was not fooled by that one either. A loss of a couple of yards, and it's a 3rd and 11 quickly for the Gauchos. Patterson, 3-man rush, stepping up, on the roll, chased by Rosales, throwing on the run, looking for Barry. Barry tiptoeing the near sideline, but he's out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a heck of a play. He tried to get the toe tap in there, and I think he actually got the second foot in. The problem was the first one was on the white lines.
It's a pretty good throw by Patterson on the run. It was good coverage by Jacob Brown on Barry again. So the Pirates forced the 3 and out. Let's watch this here on the field camera, manned by Jorge Zepeda. You can see it looked like that first foot maybe got a little piece of it, but that second foot well out of bounds. Not a difficult call, but a great effort by Barry. But the incompletion, and here comes the punting unit for the Gauchos. Avila on to punt, and we'll have whistles on the snap. They'll blow the play dead. 4:05 to go in the opening quarter. Saddleback with the 8-0 lead. Gauchos will back themselves up 5 yards.
Yeah, if you coming into this game, these 2 teams on paper were pretty darn even if you look at the numbers. I mean, Orange Coast was number 37 in the state in offense. The Gauchos were 45, and then defensively very close. Saddleback came in number 28 in the state in defense, and Orange Coast 29. So there wasn't a big disparity between one team or the other in the statistics.
Kick fielded on one hop by Corey Smith, who takes a big hit as he's knocked out of bounds. But the return brings it inside Saddleback territory. After a short kick from Avila, they're going to spawn it at the 45 of Saddleback. So the Pirates come away in pretty good shape here. That's as good as you can ask for after they turn it over at the goal line.
Yeah, they got to try to, stretch the field a little bit again and keep throwing the football, I believe. It just doesn't look to me like that running game is going to fly against this Gaucho defense.
And actually, I misread that briefly. It's the 40-yard line. Or is it the 45? Okay, the 45. I wasn't confused. The official was there. Meanwhile, there is a holding call against Orange Coast on the return. So that'll back them up 10 yards, and Orange Coast will start still with good field position at their own 45-yard line. Mitchell with Lewis and Ellis in the backfield together.
Well, I couldn't ask for a nicer night for football here tonight. Now that the sun is
beautiful,
setting, and it's probably mid to high 70s here at game time.
Meanwhile, they're just going to keep on walking off yardage.
Is where the ball was received by the receiving team.
So this
yards from there, first down.
10 yards from where the kick was received. So that ends up being a penalty of about 20-plus yards.
Yeah, it's like 25, 26-yard penalty. I believe they were going to have it on the 35, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the 45 was the original spot of Saddleback, and they end up all the way back at their, well, just inside the 34-yard line. So it's about a 21-yard penalty.
Yeah, Cal State Fullerton grad, you know. The mathematics are a little more difficult for my kind.
Yeah, I thought you guys were pretty good with engineering and math.
You thought wrong.
Mitchell sends Lewis in motion. Play action. They set up the screen. Big hit. Lewis makes the catch, but maybe he shouldn't have. Tony Williams.
Yeah, Orange Coast just not fooling the Gauchos at all right now. The only times they've had success, I think, was throwing the ball downfield. I don't think the Gauchos saw that coming in, but obviously these plays that are stretch plays and running plays, Saddleback well schooled during the week watching video.
Yeah, the only plays that have fooled them so far have been the plays deep down the field.
Yeah.
Nothing horizontal is getting the job done.
Yeah, and if you look at the stats, there was nothing to tell you Orange Coast was going to throw the ball down the middle of the field.
Yep. 2nd down and 14 after a loss of 4. High formation, the Gauchos crowding the line. Lewis with the carry, and he got maybe a yard. Williams in there again.
Now the Gauchos secondary going to be licking their chops here on 3rd and 14.
Austin Gauchos also in on the stop. A 3rd and 13 from the 31-yard line. And the Pirates facing a 3rd and long, where they have had some trouble converting just 30% on 3rd down on the season. 4 wide receivers. Blitz coming. Mitchell, good protection, starts to roll. Able to slip out of a tackle. Down the far sideline near the 1st down marker.
Mitchell can do that. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks, they can run a little bit for Orange Coast. I'm a little surprised they haven't tried a little bit more of that so far.
You know, this is a Orange Coast College Pirate group who's got a new head coach, first-year coach Bubba Gonzalez, and one thing that he's very mindful of is making sure that both his offensive and defensive line can really play in the trenches. We see that right there. Good protection allows Mitchell to get outside, make a play. And you said, no, he's just short.
Yeah, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds about a yard short of the 1st down at the 43-yard line of Orange Coast. So that'll bring on the punting unit.
Break for Saddleback. That's huge.
Bartolich on for his 2nd kick.
I thought that was easily going to be a 1st down.
Yeah, it must have been something where they saw him go out a little earlier.
Here's the snap. The Gauchos bringing the house. Bartolich, short kick taken at the 22. Innocenzi out past the 25 and brought down at the 29-yard line. A 7-yard return after a kick of 35 yards. I think it's interesting that both kicks so far for Bartolich, who has a very good average on the season, have been fairly short kicks, and I think the Gauchos bringing a lot of pressure, and I think maybe trying to upset the rhythm of Bartolich a little bit.
That was just a nice play by Innocenzi right there, because if he lets that thing hop, it might go all the way inside the 10 or the 5-yard line.
Yep.
But he took it on the run at the 25 and turned what would have been a big negative for the Gauchos starting field position, and turned it into a positive.
So with 1:30 to go in the opening quarter, the Gauchos back on offense from their own 29-yard line. Handoff on the left side. Gain of about 6 yards out to the 36. Jefferson on the carry. Another flag comes in after the play.
That's good 1st down play if it sticks. Gain 5 or 6 on 1st down. That just makes things a lot easier in the playbook.
Well, at the start of the season, it was Jake Cuero doing a lot of the work. This is going to go against Orange Coast, a personal foul call, so tack on 15 yards. But again, as the season has gone on, we've seen more of Jefferson and Algene Fisher along with Jerome Johnson. So Mark McElroy, it seems, in a lot of different positions, has had to shuffle things around, bring some other guys along here, trying to find the right combination.
You know, when you start out 2 and 3, you got to give some other guys some chances, and fortunately some of those guys have stepped up, and it's time to share the ball a little bit.
15-yard penalty brings it to the Orange Coast 49, where it's 1st and 10. Trouble on the exchange.
Almost looked like Patterson there, didn't want to give it up. And
yeah, Patterson, I think, trying to hold it, but Jefferson really ripped it away and then was hit immediately. for a loss on the play back to the 48. It's a 3-yard loss. Rosales from his defensive tackle spot able to get in quickly and hit Jefferson for a loss of 3 as we wind under a minute to go in the opening quarter. Offset I formation on 2nd and 13. Patterson gives to Jefferson. Off tackle on the right side. A little cut for Jefferson. Good hard running into Pirate territory down to the 43-yard line before he is brought down by Roman Ayala. Third and 4 upcoming for the Gauchos. Their third down percentage has moved up after a good performance last week. They're now converting 40% on third down for the season. That's a little more what Gaucho fans have come to expect, as you've talked about in our broadcast here in recent seasons. Timeout on the field as the first quarter comes to a close. We will return with the start of the second quarter. 8-0 Saddleback here watching Gaucho football on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Second quarter set to get underway with a 3rd down and 4 for the Gauchos from the 43 of Orange Coast. Patterson fakes, now delivers a strike to Derrico right near the first down marker. It's going to come down to the spot, but it looks like Austin Derrico did get just enough.
And we saw a perfect example really of all the new faces on the field, because Patterson went to hand the ball off, or at least make it look like he was going to hand it off, and the running back was on the other side of him.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but Patterson certainly recovered well if it was. Didn't appear too thrown off by that. Sometimes when it's a broken play, there's a little bit of panic for even the best of quarterbacks when they're not sure where to go. But Patterson was under control there and delivered a good pass to Derrico, who's really stepped up of late. They fake the handoff, the read option. Patterson on the keeper. A gain of a couple. Patterson, interestingly, another guy who does pretty well with his feet. Talked about the 100 yards last week. That makes him now the leading rusher on the season for the Gauchos. I'm not sure that's what Mark McElroy really wants, but it is the case.
I don't think that was in the plans at the beginning of the year. It just happens to be where it is through 6 games.
2nd down and 8 from the 37. Play action. Patterson looking deep, wants Derrico, just overthrown.
Yeah, he had him too.
Yeah, Derrico had beaten Dixon and was open, and Patterson just a little too much on the throw. And the Pirates dodge a major bullet there. I started to say Derrico with a breakout performance last week. 5 catches, 143 yards, including a 67-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I think Patterson would like to have that one back right there.
And I think that's interesting. We talk about how Patterson seems a little more confident. And I think part of that has to be when you start to have 2 or 3 guys, 4 guys that you have confidence in, that you start to get a synergy with. That's got to help you as a quarterback. And I think finding some more targets is helping Robbie Patterson. 3rd down and 8. Blitz coming. Patterson guns it deep again. This one overthrown as well. He wanted Bama Smith. And again, Patterson with too much on the throw.
Yeah, he was open again. I believe that was Jasir Berry. He was open, and he just overthrew him by about 3-4 yards. And now it looks like the Gauchos are going to stay on the field for 4th down.
Yeah, 4th down and 8. I think you're right. I think that was Berry on the far side. He got 84 and 81. Not always easy to tell the difference there. And now they'll put them together on the far side as the Gauchos overload the right side on 4th down and 8. Blitz coming again. Patterson with time finds Derrico for the first down. Makes a little move, but he's tripped up at the 20.
Really nice play by Derrico. Gets the ball. He had the first down. Then he just put a little move on the defender and picked up an extra 5 yards.
Yeah, Dixon with a great job there at the tail end of this play, and we'll watch the replay very quickly as the Gauchos line up. But Derrico had made a little move on Dixon, but Dixon didn't give up on the play. If you watch here, it's Dixon who does manage to get an arm out, just reach back and trip up Derrico. Back to live action. Patterson under pressure, on the run, still looking, directing traffic. Now tries to lob it down into traffic where it's nearly picked off.
Yeah, you could see Patterson waving the wide receiver on the far side once it became time to scramble to go deep. The problem was Orange Coast had 3 guys back there that all saw that, and they knew he was going to throw it deep.
It was Arion Orange who ended up having the best shot. And to add insult to injury, they're going to call Yasir Berry for offensive pass interference. So the Gauchos are going to lose some yardage. 13:23 to go in the first half.
One thing you notice, though, when you're watching Saddleback this week is the body language. They're playing with a lot of confidence. And, you know, when you're going for it on 4th down and 8 from the other team's 35, you're not real afraid that Orange Coast's got a lot of threats out there on their own offensive side of the ball.
2nd down and 25. Patterson with a straight drop, wants Johnson on the screen. Johnson hit behind the line and brought down at the 38-yard line. That was Tavita Crisp, who got there very quickly.
Well, now you got 3rd and forever, and I think the plan is probably just to try to get something out around the 25 and maybe set yourself up for a field goal. Oh, it's correction. It's only 2nd down, so.
Yeah, they had 2nd down and 25, but after the penalty, it should have been 1st down. So, scoreboard now. 2nd down. They need the 10-yard line, so it's 2nd and 29 after a loss of about 4 yards on the last play. Bunch formation on the far side. Another blitz coming. Patterson in trouble and sacked. Back at midfield. Ayala on the blitz, and Patterson just had to eat the football.
Yeah, that's a coverage sack right there. The guy's downfield, good coverage on the Saddleback wide receivers. There's just nothing there, and Patterson, by the time he saw the guy coming on the near side of the field, he just had to eat it.
Well, this is going to be a noteworthy 3rd down, 3rd and 38 for the Gauchos.
Not a lot of those in the playbook.
You don't see too often. What play do you run on 3rd and 38? You have to imagine you're going to look for Yasir Berry.
Yeah, maybe a little screenplay or something. Try to get, like I said, maybe get around the 25 and get yourself in field goal range.
Patterson with good protection, going to Berry, who makes the catch at the 35. They'll spot it at the 34. Orange with the stop. 14-yard pickup. And now it's 4th down and still 24 to go. And, well, you're in all kinds of no man's land here for the Gauchos. I can't see going for it on 4th down. It's a 51-yard field goal. Not sure what you do here.
Maybe thinking about a pooch punt here. Have you seen that this year, Brad?
I have not seen that from the Gauchos in a handful of years. I think McElroy's a little confused himself. Now he wants to take a timeout and think about it.
How's Patterson's punting leg? We're going to maybe find out here. 4th down and 24. 11:20 to go in the first half. And the Gauchos leading at 8-0. And we welcome you back to Gaucho Football on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Jeff Stoynoff, Mike Zapata, Jorge Zapata, Brad Hoyseth with you here from Mission Viejo High School, where the Gauchos are playing while their new stadium being constructed. Patterson on 4th and long, launches into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Boy, Derrico really had a shot. In fact, there were two Gauchos really back there, both working against one Pirate defender as we watch the replay. And what do you think of this call?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a big fan of that call. I mean, I understand playing with confidence, but you also, let your defense play with a short field. I mean, if they punt the ball away, maybe Orange Coast is hemmed inside their own 10. I haven't seen a lot of that Pirate offense so far. That really scares me. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to score. There's no reason to get anxious and try to overfire.
So it gives the Pirates pretty good field position. Their own 34-yard line. 11:14 to go in the first half. Handoff straight up the middle. Not much doing. Mailangi leading the Gaucho charge.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of physicality up front right now for Orange Coast. They are losing the battle up there in the trenches, as they say. And
well, to think to get anything done here as Gus Serafino is in the backfield now with Pete Mitchell. You had to hope from a Pirate standpoint that you could get something going on the ground, and right now, very little doing in terms of rushing yardage. And last week they had upwards of 200 yards against Golden West in a game they did ultimately lose. Flags down as Mitchell throws on the run. Fingertip grab almost made, but incomplete.
Yeah, we had flags early on in that play.
Troy Conway, the intended receiver, and almost made a tremendous grab.
Feels like a neutral zone maybe.
And it is against Saddleback. Well, the Gauchos haven't done themselves a whole lot of favors in terms of penalties here in the first half.
No, I mean, it's at the end of the day, Saddleback looks like the better football team, but right now it's a one-score game.
Yep. And the last thing you want if you're Saddleback in this game is to get into the second half and have the Pirates maybe get a little bit of confidence of, hey, maybe we can steal one here, maybe we can get one.
Right now it feels a little bit more like the Pasadena City game that the Gauchos played earlier in the year when they didn't look real good for 2 quarters and then kind of came out in the second half and blew out the Lancers. But,
yeah,
physically they were a better football team, but for 2 quarters they just kind of played, up and down, helter-skelter football.
Well, one thing that has carried over from last week is time of possession. Mitchell, again, looking deep, wants C.J. Williams, who had his hands on it, but it's incomplete. No flags on the play.
Looked like the corner for the Gauchos just got his head turned around at the right time.
I got to tell you, that was P.I.
Matt Wiskowski.
Let's watch that one more time here on the replay,
coverage.
guys. I mean, you have a full-on grab of the offensive player while your head's not turned, and you turn at the last second.
Yeah, I thought it was close when it was live, and on the replay it did look like it could have been pass interference.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of home cooking for Saddleback
Nothing
here.
wrong with that. They wear the burgundy here as well.
3rd down and 3 from the 41-yard line of Orange Coast. They have Mitchell has Lewis in the backfield, and Lewis can't come up with the screen pass and then gets leveled for his trouble as well. And Tony Williams over on the far side is really having a field day in this first half.
Yeah, that's one if you're a wide receiver. I think you go back to the quarterback afterwards and say, hey, if you don't mind, don't throw that ball next time. Just throw it out of bounds.
That's what they call a hospital ball.
Yeah. And Williams eschewed any thought of the interception, preferring instead to drop the hammer on Ahmad Lewis.
The great Dan Kloss in the house now, the Gaucho athletic director and dean. And
there he is, trying to keep a low profile as he sneaks past us.
Tried to get him on the mic. He said, nah, I don't think so.
4th down, Bartolich on to kick and whistles on the snap, so they're going to blow this play dead.
Give me the old Derek Lutz. I don't think so, Zepeda.
No, he's the typical Cerritos guy. He just came in for the food,
So is that the rule here? ADs get first choice here. 10 minutes left in the first half. They get.
That's right.
That's the AD window. Any time in the second quarter, that's what you get for being in charge of the athletic department.
What a great gig.
And a really good guy, too.
So
he's been around Saddleback now for 14, 15 months, and he's had a lot to deal with between the football field and then now the gymnasium's had some water damage and all kinds of changes at the top of leadership at the college. I mean, he's had a lot to deal with, and he's done it with a lot of class so far.
You know what's interesting? When he first got to Cerritos, a lot of changes there, a lot of changes with the aquatic center there, and then also with the basketball arena at Cerritos College when he was there, and then he comes over. I mean, he's obviously well-versed in the ways of having new facilities, and if anybody can handle it, Dan Kloss is your guy.
Meanwhile, they had Bartolic under pressure again, and he just got that one away on the far side. So clearly they continue to try and pressure Bartolic on the punts. It's a short kick, and the Gauchos will come out with pretty good field position.
Well, I would like to see him put together a nice, slow, grinding, sustained drive where you keep that defense out there, tire them out. You've already shown them you'll take some shots downfield. Now let's see if we can get a little bit of running game going and wear down that defense a little bit.
I started to say on the previous drive that the Gauchos had 38 minutes time of possession in the victory at Southwestern, and they've really held the ball for the lion's share of the time here in this first half as well. Handoff on first down. Jefferson looking for a lane. He's cut down, but he has a first down out near midfield.
That's a tough play, too, for that corner to have to come up and make that tackle. It was, it's going to hurt. And one of the other guys that came in late ended up getting dinged up himself.
97.
Yeah, that's Rosales.
I really like the burst of speed, though, by Johnson there, because he showed some good open field speed there.
Yeah, it was Norris who ended up making the tackle, but Rosales at the tail end of that play, still down on the field at the Orange Coast 45-yard line. We'll take an injury timeout. 10:06 to go in the first half. Saddleback leading at 8-0. It's Gaucho football on SoCalCollegeSports.com. So Rosales up on his feet and walking off, and that's always encouraging. They'll spot it at the Saddleback 48, 1st and 10, after the run by Jefferson, who remains in the backfield. Play action. Patterson rolling left, throws under pressure, and that is right to Norris, who makes the interception, but he's out of bounds. So the Pirates very nearly had the turnover. And the Gauchos catch a major break here as we'll take a quick look at the replay.
Almost looked like they were on the wrong page. He was trying to throw a little back shoulder fade.
Yeah, he's watched Patterson under pressure here as he throws. And I'm not sure if there was miscommunication, but the only one there was Norris, who had the easy pick, but he was standing out of bounds. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Patterson again with a designed roll to the right, sideline pass complete to Reeves, who scurries out of bounds with the first down. Gets it by about a half yard into Pirate territory inside the 42-yard line. They'll wind the clock, 9:42 and counting remaining in the first half. Gauchos leading it 8-0. A touchdown pass from Patterson to Yasir Berry, the only scoring so far. Formation. Pirates starting to crowd the line. They come on the blitz. Patterson on the carry, trying to pick his way through some blocks. He's inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line.
That's just a design run right there by the quarterback. The problem is quarterbacks aren't running backs, and sometimes they get a little impatient, and he just outran the block there, ran right into the back of the fullback. And
Ayala.
A little more patience, and that could have been a much bigger gain.
So down to the 38-yard line. It's a 4-yard run. 2nd and a short 7. Play action again. They screen it on the far side. Big collision as Soto drops the hammer after a gain of a couple of yards.
I do like the play selection, though, now, because they're kind of drawing the defense in a little bit. Yeah. Now you can go back and take a shot downfield. But
Josiah Sargent, the fullback, had the catch and gets it to the 35, where it'll be 3rd down and 4 for the Gauchos. And this is a situation, a distance where they've been pretty good so far here tonight.
one would have to think it's 4-down territory. They went for it last time on 4th and about 20.
Blitz coming. Patterson pop flies the near side looking for Smith. Smith, did he come down with it? He did! Just as I started to wonder if maybe there was going to be pass interference on that call, it doesn't matter. Bama Smith with the touchdown reception, second touchdown pass of the first half for Robbie Patterson as we watch the replay.
Yeah, Smith is just behind him, and he's playing catch-up, the defender for Orange Coast, and Patterson puts some nice air under the football and allows his wide receiver a chance to go up and get it.
That was Mr. All Over the Field, Zeke Alleman, who's a linebacker, and I can't imagine that he's designed to be out there on Bama Smith trying to stay with him, and Smith was wide open on a ball that was a little bit underthrown, but no matter, as Smith does a good job of coming back to get it.
Gauchos, it looks like now will go for the conventional 1-point conversion.
35-yard touchdown pass, Patterson to Smith. Extra point is up and good, and the Gauchos push the lead out to 15-0. 8:06 to go in the first half. Saddleback with the lead. You're watching Gaucho football on SoCalCollegeSports.com. The Gauchos leading it 15-0 after Patterson hooks up with Bama Smith on a 35-yard touchdown pass. The kick to Smith into the end zone, and Smith will take the touchback. And the Pirates will start at the 20. Midway through the second quarter, and Orange Coast, with the exception of a couple of big plays on one drive, a lot of difficulty getting much going here offensively.
It's clearly an uphill battle right now for the Pirates. I mean, just not a lot of firepower out there. They had some success going downfield and catching the Gauchos in some coverage issues, but...
And it looks at this point as though they're without their leading receiver, Dylan Laurent, who has not been on the field that I have seen so far tonight. New quarterback Nathan West on the scramble out past the 30 to the 32-yard line. Pickup of 7 yards and a second and short coming up for the Pirates.
And that's what they need, really. I mean, you just can't afford to get negative yardage or just 1 yard on first down. And sometimes those little passing play or scramble plays, those serve the same purpose as a good run.
Yeah, West comes in completing 43% of his passes, 425 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the season. He and Mitchell, pretty similar numbers across the board, as both have had significant playing time this season. Good pocket for West, but the pass incomplete.
Yeah, he had a
Looking
guy there,
for Purnell.
too. There was a step.
DeMondre Purnell.
I got to tell you, I thought it was a decent pass. It hits Purnell in the hand.
Yeah, we're going to get a pretty good look at the replay here on the field camera. There you go, put the jinx on that a little bit. And you see that Purnell, yeah, a little step on the inside.
I think he's going a little bit north where he's supposed to be cutting it in on the post.
Yeah. So a 3rd down and 4 for Orange Coast. Receivers left and right. West, play action, trying to set up the screen, and does. But the Gauchos not fooled, and a slew of Saddleback tacklers quickly on that play. No gain on the play, and 4th down upcoming, and here comes Christopher Bartolich, who's had a busy first half.
Yeah, that play didn't look good from the beginning. There was a lot of black jerseys over there, and Gauchos are very fortunate. I thought they didn't get a late hit. It looked like somebody came in a little bit late.
Brad, I mean, from what I'm seeing out here, it looks like the Gauchos may be a little susceptible up the seam Problem is OCC doesn't really have anybody to attack the seam, and outside the coverage is excellent.
Yeah, and it doesn't appear like their quarterback's got a lot of time to wait for a second option, if you know what I'm saying.
A lot of room on the return. Innocenzi picks up a big block near the 40. He's still on his feet. Into Pirate territory. Down the near sideline. Inside the 10 and brought down near the 5-yard line.
Yeah,
Innocenzi.
Somebody getting up a little slow there for Orange Coast on that one. There's a little crackback block out around the 42. You'll see it coming here.
That's a season-long return of about 75 yards. And there's what might have been an illegal block. And
right
there you see the big block that Innocenzi picks up. But then nice patience by Romy Innocenzi, letting that play develop, picks up one more block all the way down inside the 10-yard line, and the Gauchos set up in great field position deep in Pirate territory.
That was just a really nice setup of a return. I mean, that was a special teams gem right there for the Gauchos.
Well, did they rule that a horse collar tackle at the end? Because it looked like he got in the back of that.
I thought it could have been. I'm not sure. I didn't see any yellow flags, though.
Are they pink flags or yellow flags today?
Pink socks on some of the guys, but yellow flags.
First and goal from the 7 after the long return by Innocenzi. Johnson dancing his way forward. He's inside the 5, down to the 3.
Johnson has been that red zone guy. You get inside the 10, he's got he's only got 186 yards rushing on the season.
Yeah, 3
but he's got 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 just last week. And he has taken over as the primary goal line guy.
He had a really good season at Grossmont when he was there, and was one of the leading rushers in the league last year at Grossmont.
Second down, they keep it on the ground on the left side, down near the goal line, inside the 1. So more Jerome Johnson, and now it's 3rd and goal from inside the 1, 5:34 and counting. Remaining in the first half, and the Gauchos trying to break this one open. They lead at 15-0, and they're now just about a yard away from going in for another.
Kind of imperative if you're Orange Coast that you get a stop here. You don't want to go down 22.
Quick snap. On the ground again, straight ahead. Touchdown. And it was Johnson one more time. 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Gauchos get the big return from Romy Innocenzi. And then Jerome Johnson does the rest. 1-yard touchdown run. It's now 21-0 as we wait for the extra point.
Yeah, it looks like Mark McElroy is going to pick up his 15th win against Orange Coast here tonight.
Well, we wondered, with so much turnover, how long would it take for this team? And, obviously I think even with all the new faces, Saddleback College, there's not going to be a shortage of talent here. They have the guys who can play, but so many guys had to learn the system, learn it on the fly, starting most notably with Robbie Patterson at quarterback. But a lot of guys having to pick up a lot, but now it looks like maybe it's starting to happen for the Gauchos.
I think I mentioned this during a couple games back. The Gauchos have always been a very resilient program. I mean, it was 2015 they lost their first 2 games of the season, and then they won 10 straight games and went to the state title game before they lost to San Francisco. And I'll never forget the feeling after losing those first 2 games that year. People were waving red flags. They thought the season was over, and then all of a sudden things just kind of changed on a dime. Now they had Johnny Stanton, who was a pretty darn good quarterback, and they had some really good football players. And I'm not saying that this team resembles that team at all, but at this level, 19, 20-year-old kids, a lot of things can happen. Injuries happen. Football's a war of attrition. We're talking about looking at the season as it moves forward. A team like Riverside, they could endure some injuries over the next 3-4 weeks.
I'm looking over at my longtime broadcast partner and buddy Mike Spada, and how often do we see that in basketball, Mike, when we talk about what a team is at the start of the season and what a team is at the end of the season? And in many instances, that's not at all the same team. And you can have a team that's on a completely different level at the end of a year.
It's especially when you talk about the ultimate team sport in football, and sometimes you're going to live and die by the quarterback. And if your quarterback can develop and the game slows down for him throughout the season, from game to game, he can get better with practices and reps. You know, he can be a completely different game changer at the end of the season.
There was, sorry about that, Michael. I was going to say there was a penalty on the extra point, so this kickoff comes from the 20. Long kick, though, taken back at the 5. Purnell looking for the far sideline, hit inside the 15 and dropped. Well, that is a microcosm of this first half, maybe in a lot of ways for the Gauchos. Just when you think for the Pirates, maybe something good's going to happen, the Gauchos come up with a huge play.
I tell you, the special teams for Saddleback so far tonight have been spectacular. I mean, you had the kick return, you had the big kickoff right there, and you know, they put a lot of pressure on the punter of Orange Coast on a couple of occasions, and so they've been coached up really well. Earlier in the season, they were having some issues with those things, and they seem to have kind of buttoned those things up a little.
Lewis in the backfield with Nathan West, who starts his second drive. 5:08 to go in the first half, and now whistles on the snap, and it appears the Pirate offense not on the same page.
Another microcosm of the first half. How about a shout out to Julio Juarez, watching and chatting in on the YouTube channel, giving us a little props, a little pat on the back. So thank you, Julio. And
we'll take it.
Yeah, for everybody that has some friends or family maybe want to watch, they can watch this broadcast live right now on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. On YouTube, a YouTube-enabled device. You got an Apple TV, you got a Roku, you got something with the YouTube app, SoCal College Sports 1. Search the channel. You can catch all of our live coverage and our archive games on the channel.
Boy, Orange Coast is taking a lot of time here. They weren't ready to run the first play. Now they got guys running in and out.
3 wide receivers to the right. Read option, West. Able to shed 1 tackle, but he's wrapped up at the 13. Gain of 3.
Maybe they just want to milk the clock here in the first half and get off the field.
Number 45, Chase Bradley.
Chase Bradley with the stop. 2nd down and 12 as they wind the clock. They overload the near side, do the Pirates. The give to Lewis. Out past the 15 to the 18-yard line. 5-yard run. 3rd down and 7. Coming up for Orange Coast, and Orange Coast has had a lot of difficulty picking up 3rd downs tonight. And I'm not even sure they've had one.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I talked about on their first possession. And those 1st and 2nd down plays are going to be critical because they do not have the personnel to get themselves behind the chains.
Now they overload the far side. On 3rd down and 7. West from the shotgun. 3-man rush. On the roll, looking left, throws left, completes to Purnell.
That's a great throw by West.
That's one of the better throws we've seen all night from Orange Coast right there.
Really, from either side. I mean, that was terrific.
And you see a designed roll, and he locks in on Purnell and delivers it on the numbers.
Gauchos just playing a soft zone there, and 2 guys were on the same page for the Pirates. That's good news for them.
Out to the 32 and a fresh set of downs. Lewis sweeping to the left. Hit and dropped after a gain of a couple. Colton Larceville coming up to make the tackle. Well, the Gaucho defense you've talked about, a little bit undersized against some of the bigger teams in the SCFA. But I think part of what's made them so successful this season is a very solid tackling team, especially in that secondary and the linebackers. Not a lot of missed tackles.
Yeah,
for the Gauchos in the games that we've seen.
They knew coming into the season that the back 7 was probably going to be the strength of the defense.
Good running room for West on a read option all the way into Gaucho territory before they bring him down at the 48. Now a late flag comes in. Still plenty of time to go in the first half. 3:03 as they stop the clock to assess the penalty as we watch the replay. And that's another well-designed play as West had a lot of running room.
I did not see anything.
Yeah, it came in very late.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 39 of the defense, 15 yards, first down.
And that is Wasowski. Yeah, Waskowski. I want to make sure I'm trying to pronounce that.
Well, that's a big penalty for the Gauchos now. You don't want to get sloppy here at the end of the half and give up a touchdown and suddenly give Orange Coast some momentum going into the locker room.
Well, it's something that we see. It's a familiar refrain from all the coaches that we talk to about finishing halves, finishing games, staying focused, not making silly mistakes late when things are really going your way. And I think it's what drives any coach crazy. Meanwhile, West with time. Pop flies, looking, and has the touchdown pass.
And there it is. I mean, now
Monchi
suddenly
on the reception.
Suddenly you got a football game again. That's just a good adjustment there by the wide receiver. The Gaucho never got his head turned around.
Yeah, they went right back after Wiskowski with Monchi solo on the right side. And this is just a great adjustment as we watch the replay one more time. A little bit underthrown, and Monchi able to come back for that football and get it, and then able to fall in for the touchdown. And the Pirates with an answer late in the first half. The extra point is up and good. 2:42 to go in the first half. Orange Coast on the board. Saddleback leading at 22-7 on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Smith and Scheiberl back deep for the Gauchos after the Pirates answer back. A touchdown pass from Nathan West to Giancarlo Monchi. Gets the Pirates on the board, and the score now 22-7.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself the question, did Orange Coast maybe leave a little too much time on the clock? I mean, there's 2:42 left, and the Gauchos haven't been too afraid to throw it deep.
Well, and again, as this is a short kick, whistles before the kick, so they're going to blow this play dead. But if I'm the Gauchos in this situation, there's a lot to feel good about in this first half, but I continue to see that when the Pirates take shots downfield, they're making some things happen. That was another big play to Monchi. You think back to the pass to Purnell, where Purnell maybe had a step, and if the Pirates are willing to throw the ball downfield, it looks like they can get some work done.
Yeah, they've found single coverage a couple of times, and then blown coverage the one time where they went deep on the first possession, and they've picked their spots, and I think they're gonna have to keep picking them though, because that running game doesn't look like it's going to fool the Gauchos at all.
Well, the Gauchos have been pretty good against the run statistically all season long. Last week.
Yeah, we had the one game against Mount Sac where Mount Sac was just bigger and more physical, and the Gauchos got run down in the second half, but they've had some moments where they've looked really good against the run.
Yeah, they went against DeAndre Daniels, the third leading rusher in the SCFA last week, and Daniels was pretty solid in the game, but ultimately held under 100 yards. He had just 94 yards on the ground. Short kick, a lot of running room for Scheiberl. Leaps a tackler near midfield, and he's brought down at the Gaucho 49-yard line. But another big play on special teams for Saddleback sets the Gauchos up with a short field.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell if it's a great play by the Gauchos on special teams or if it's just a really poor play by Orange Coast. And the kick was woefully short. The coverage was slow getting down there, and then the blocking was great. The Gauchos did have a good wall set up.
Yeah, that was a cavernous wedge that he had. Did Scheiberl ultimately closed up, but not before the Gauchos get out to their own 48-yard line, 2:34 to go. The Gauchos do have one timeout remaining. Patterson sets up. Now the pressure comes. Throws on the run on the far sideline and completes into Pirate territory.
Talk about another great throw there.
Yeah, Smith with the reception. Down to the Pirate 39-yard line.
Seems like
36. Sorry
seems like this is where football has really changed in the last couple of years. It's just like a video game. You're watching these NFL games where teams
Patterson going deep, wants Smith on this side now. Smith lays out but can't make the catch.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like they're not afraid to they almost want to waste time, as we saw in the Monday Night Football game last week, and The classic game between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes there for the Chiefs. And
I don't know about you guys, but I've been watching football for a long time, as you guys both have too, and watching an Andy Reid offense, and I'm thinking, man, I don't even recognize the game anymore.
No, it's like a video game.
They're all over the place now.
It's called Madden.
Receivers left and right on 2nd and 10. Short throw, catch made by Reeves. Out of bounds, about a yard shy of the first down. It'll be a 3rd down and short from the Orange Coast 27-yard line. Still 1:54 and counting remaining in the first half.
The Gauchos plenty of time here. We talked about it. Orange Coast might have left too much clock, and clearly the Gauchos not in any hurry.
Keep an eye on Barry solo to the right. They hand off, good running room on the right side. Jefferson inside the 15 down to the 10. Finally brought down at the 7-yard line. That is a 20-yard run for Jefferson. And they'll stop the clock to move the chains. Now they wind it, 1:24 to go. Again, the Gauchos with just 1 timeout remaining. But they still have a lot of time.
Jefferson very shifty. He's got some good moves in the open field.
From the 7. Jefferson gets the call again, and he is hit quickly and dropped for a loss on the play.
Not enough shift for that one, though. Some guy just came in off the edge unblocked.
And he was going to need to be very shifty. So the loss brings it back. 2nd and goal from the 12. 5-yard loss on the play, down to 50 seconds and counting remaining. Bunch formation. Reeves in motion. Patterson looking left. Overthrows Johnson in the flat.
Just nothing there, really. That was just good defense by the Pirates on that one.
Yeah, Michael Archer, leading tackler for the Pirates, was right in the area, and we've seen a couple of short passes that we think would have been better not to be caught. And that time the Gauchos, I think, is squarely in that category there. Good thing Johnson didn't come down with it. 3rd down and goal from the 12, 41 seconds remaining. And obviously the Gauchos with the timeout, they've got the full complement of plays here. They can run anything.
Well, they're clearly in field goal range. There's no question about that. Obviously, they'd like to get the touchdown, but
Patterson
do here.
Pop flies in the corner, and it's broken up.
No, touchdown.
Oh, no, Barry got it.
Yeah, he was wide open, and that's just a busted coverage there, and a nice throw by Patterson.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay here and talk about Patterson just able to thread that one in. I thought closing back in there, it was Orange and Dixon had the coverage, and they were closing, but just a little bit too late. Instead, it's Barry with his 2nd touchdown reception of the first half, and the Gauchos take advantage of the short field again. They go 52 yards, and they now lead at 28-7 with the extra point pending.
Yeah, right now they're the killer bees. Bama and Barry have just
absolutely
getting behind the defense every time.
Patterson lighting it up again. 3 touchdown passes in the first half. Saddleback leads at 29-7, 35 seconds to go in the first half. We welcome you back to Saddleback Gaucho football, and hey, everybody, spread the word. You can find the game on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. And, of course, all games on YouTube streamed live and then, of course, archived for as long as YouTube is around. You can watch the game at any time on our channel, SoCal College Sports 1. Big return now for the Pirates. Purnell out past the 30. Steps out of bounds at the 38-yard line. 29 seconds to go, and it's been a flurry of action here in the final couple of minutes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Orange Coast does here, because they're not really built for a 29-yard or a 29-second offensive game plan. It's just not how they're they function. And so we'll see if they just choose to go into the locker room or maybe take a couple more shots downfield. I would think the Gauchos have some extra defensive backs back there.
As we talked about a couple of minutes ago, maybe that's the only thing they're built for tonight, some of the big plays down the field. Max Carlson on the season does have a long of 41 yards, if you're thinking about the field goal for the Pirates. So they'll need to make a big play here. They do have all 3 timeouts remaining. West, play action. Pass incomplete.
If that's complete,
looking for Conway.
That could be a big gainer right there.
That's that seam play right there.
Yeah,
if you catch him in stride, and he's got a lot of green in front of him.
I don't know if you saw the Pittsburgh game last week where that game ended with Antonio Brown. That was basically the same play.
Yeah, I didn't watch it live, but I saw it on the replay because it killed me in fantasy.
I hope the Gauchos maybe get some extra, play a little softer, get back on defense a little bit.
4 wide receivers on 2nd and 10. West rolling away from pressure. He's in trouble. He is going to be sacked for a massive loss. Back inside his 20-yard line.
You're outside the tackle box. You just got to throw that to the to the line of scrimmage and get out.
Gauchos able to track down West, and now the Gauchos will take a timeout with 14 seconds remaining, but that's their final timeout. So the Pirates still have the ability to end the half here if they want to.
Yeah, that's an interesting timeout there, up 29-7 with 14 seconds left. And
is this maybe to regroup and make sure you don't give up a big play at this point on 3rd and long?
I'm not sure what it is, to be quite honest with you. I wouldn't have been calling a timeout there. I think maybe he thought he had 2 timeouts left.
Yeah.
And thought he could stop it again and maybe get another return or something. I'm not quite sure the logic behind that.
I know, too, that oftentimes when we're talking with any of the coaches that we're talking about, there is, I don't want to say a preoccupation because that implies that it's not well placed, but there is a concern about trick plays in certain situations where they'll try to run something funny at you. And sometimes you wonder if maybe that's a little bit, I know that we often have that conversation. We don't want to get caught out of position. We don't want to get caught with a trick play. We know they like to try something a little out of the ordinary in this type of situation and make sure that everybody is aware of what might be possible. So something maybe they've seen in a scouting report as well. 3rd down and 28 for the Pirates. Play action, short throw, leaping catch. Williams has it. Out to the 25-yard line, 5-yard pickup. Clock continues to move, and that will do it for the first half. We head to the locker room, 29-7. The Gauchos with the lead over Orange Coast. You're watching Saddleback football on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
broadcasting live on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Check us out on YouTube, SoCal College Sports 1. You have a YouTube-enabled device, smartphone, tablet, PC. Hey, you got an Apple TV, you got an Xbox One, something with a YouTube app, SoCal College Sports 1. Also, hit us up on Twitter at SoCal College SPO. And be sure to check out the website, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com. We are at halftime. Saddleback all over Orange Coast, 29-7.
Moments away from the start of the third quarter. Saddleback leading Orange Coast 29-7. Gauchos with an aerial assault here in the first half, and that is primarily responsible for the lead. Patterson, another big week, started to get it together against Southwestern last week, and he has definitely carried it over into the first half against the Pirates this week.
Yeah, and it's the reemergence of Yasir Berry, really. I mean, Berry's got 2 touchdowns in the game, probably could be 4, really, if Patterson not missed on a couple of long passes where he was wide open. And I mentioned it in the first half. I'm going with it on the headline on the SaddlebackGauchos.com afterwards. It's the Killer Bees, Berry, Bama, and Brandon. You know, all 3 guys have found their way downfield.
Yeah, in the last 6 quarters of football, Michael, 40 of 55 for Patterson, completing his passes at a clip well in excess of 70%.
What a great way to sneak in a plug there, Brad. I love that for SaddlebackGauchos.com. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
He's tricky. He's shifty.
That 40 of 55, I'm going to let you higher education guys figure out that percentage, you know?
I don't know about that. Jeffrey for sure.
I did overstate it, I believe. Well, no, it is a little bit over 70%, so it's good. I'll stick by it. Meanwhile, the Gauchos deferred after winning the opening toss, so they will get it first to start the third quarter. Scheiberl back deep, along with Bama Smith. Gauchos have been more than successful in the return game tonight, both kicks and punts, and this is Scheiberl working it from one side of the field to the other, tries to reverse field, and he's brought down at the 25-yard line, and that's where the Gauchos will go to work to start their first drive here in the second half.
Yeah, Orange Coast just did a nice job there stringing that thing out. Scheibro tried to run all the way across the field, and just too many guys to beat on that one.
I mentioned Patterson's numbers briefly. 17 of 25 in the first half, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns.
First and 10, Gauchos at their own 25-yard line.
He'll be joined by Jefferson in the backfield as they spread it out with 4 receivers on first and 10. Jefferson trips over his feet, short of the line.
See what the Gauchos do here in the second half. I think the feeling is that they could be kind of anxious for a 50-point performance, something like that. They really haven't had that game where they just kind of lit it up, and see if they feel like this is the opportunity to go out there and, well, that's not going to happen.
Patterson is crushed from the blind side, but they're going to say his arm was going forward, so it's just an incomplete pass, but Patterson absorbs a huge hit as we will watch the replay.
Yeah, he didn't see that coming at all. And
it was a blitz from Ayala from the blind side, and Ayala unloaded. One more look here, and Patterson getting ready to throw deep there, and no sense that that was coming, but he's okay. In the game, throws on the run, completes to Reeves. Reeves just short of the marker. It's going to come down to the spot, but it looks like he's about a yard short.
You know, that play seems pretty innocuous. This last one, I got to tell you, that last play where he absorbs a big hit, comes back, makes a completion, there's a lot of brownie points in the locker room.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Patterson's a tough young man. I mean, we've seen that before. It was a very physical game against the Mounties when we were here a couple of weeks ago, and not an easy night for him. And he showed a lot of toughness, both physically and mentally, in that game, and he comes back here and completes the pass after absorbing the big hit, but it's short of the first down, so here comes the punting unit. High kick.
That's a nice kick right there.
Takes a good Gaucho bounce inside the 15 and out of bounds at the 12-yard line. That's a 49-yard punt.
Out of bounds at our camera.
Yeah, that is that's called flipping the field right there.
Yeah, right there. Jorge practically could have jumped on that one himself.
First down, Orange Coast.
See if the Pirates continue to try to look down the field a little bit here in this half. They did have some success throwing the ball downfield.
We're going to get Dan Kloss up here shortly.
We are.
Dan's going to come out and talk about a few things with us.
After I badmouthed the guy about coming in here and stealing some cookies,
now he's going to make sure that
he's going to come up and steal my airtime.
He's got to get the final word in.
No, Brad, you'll still be on with him.
They keep it on the ground. Lewis spinning out of one tackle, but he's brought down for a loss on the play. Larseville, who has been very aggressive from the safety spot tonight, moving up once again. And you have to note the fact that despite the sporadic success that the Pirates have had down the field, it really hasn't made Mark McElroy and his staff back off from what obviously is the plan tonight, which is to really challenge that line of scrimmage and make the Pirates go vertical to get anything done against them.
They've had almost no success whatsoever on the ground. 14 carries, 33 yards, and I think most of those came on 1 or 2 plays. We've seen a lot of negative plays in the running game so far for the Pirates.
Mitchell looking for Clark in the pass, a little bit behind him, incomplete. So Mitchell back at the controls after West finished out the first half. Quickly 3rd and 11.
Gauchos have had some games on defense where they have really stuffed the run. They had one game where the opponent had -1 yards rushing.
Yep.
And they've had their moments in that running game, and Orange Coast just hasn't been able to figure out that riddle all night long.
Well, I think if you're not about 1,600 or 1,700 pounds across the board on the offensive line, you're going to have a tough time running on the Gauchos. Mitchell in all kinds of trouble, spins away from one tackler. Now he's just got to tuck it and try and get what he can.
Yeah,
he's out to the 13-yard line.
He looked like he was in a pinball machine right there. He just kept getting bounced around from one guy to the next.
Yeah, it's a sensational effort to avoid about a 10-yard loss and turn it into a gain of a couple, but the Gauchos force a quick 3 and out, and they should get it back with very good field position here. Let's watch the replay one more time. It was Roberson who had the first shot at him. But Mitchell able to wriggle out of it. And here comes Bartolage. Again, a short kick from Bartolage on the far side, but takes a pirate bounce past the 40, out to the 42. That's just a 32-yard kick. And Bartolage, who came in with a punting average of nearly 42 yards a punt, has had a struggle tonight.
Yeah, he's had his problems tonight, and part of that has been a little bit of the pressure. And that one, though, I think he just shanked that one.
Well, go figure that they've been able to really pressure Bartolage and really hurry him, and that's obviously taken away some of his effectiveness. And still you saw Innocenzi with a 60-plus yard punt return in the first half. So talk about having your cake and eating it too if you're the Gauchos, going after the punter and still getting a big return as well. No trade-off.
You know, having good special teams, I don't think gets enough credit at any level, let alone this level. And I think I saw Deion Sanders one time talking about one of the teams and that was in the playoff hunt in the NFL, and he said, you know, really the difference a lot of times between those really good teams and those teams that aren't going to quite get there is the special teams. They don't do the little things right. The Gauchos special teams tonight have been really on.
Well, at the college level, somebody talk about Virginia Tech, a team that I think was among the elites year after year, and a big part of it was just devastating special teams that allowed them to get over the top against any number of opponents. Handoff on the left side.
Flag.
And is this going to draw a flag?
Wow.
It certainly appeared to be a little after the play, did it not?
Well, it was Zeke Alleman who's been all over the field tonight.
Maybe they ruled that the momentum was carrying him towards that end, but the whistle well before the player went to the ground.
So they'll give him forward progress to the 38 of Orange Coast, where it will be 3rd down and 5. Saddleback outstanding in the first half, 8 of 11 on 3rd downs. And they face a 3rd and 5 here. Reeves in motion. Some movement. Here come the flags. Could be a free play. Patterson looking deep down the near side. It should say the far side. And it's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, it's one of those killer bees again, Brandon Reeves, and he was just wide open.
Watch the replay one more time as Patterson takes full advantage of the free play. Reeves streaking down the far sideline. 4th touchdown pass tonight.
38-yard touchdown pass.
That was pretty easy right there.
That's pitch and catch.
Patterson to Reeves.
One of the Gauchos kind of limping off there. One of the linemen, I think, got tangled up there in the middle of the pile, blocking on that play. Let's see if he's going to be okay.
Well, the story of this season continues for the Gauchos, where they have either been overpowering in victory or seemingly overmatched in defeat. It's either one or the other, and this one tonight certainly seems to be fitting into the former. They now lead at 36-7 with 10:46 to go in the 3rd quarter on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Matthew Freem teeing it up. 10:46 to go in the 3rd.
There you go.
All right. Sorry about that. I had a little audio difficulty, but quick resolution, and we're ready to go. Taking it to 5 by Smith. Out to the 15. Looking for a lane on the far side. Leaps a tackler. Out to the 25 and forced out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
You see
So
another
a good return. A Pirate player is down at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, you see another Pirate shaking up on the field. This is that time of the game where, you know, as a coach, you have some tough decisions to make. I mean, you're up 36-7. There's not an immense threat that Orange Coast is going to come back and win this thing. And if you're the Gauchos, you got some big games down the road, and you got to pick and choose your spots. But I think one more touchdown, and if you're the Gauchos, you might start seeing some new guys out there.
Well, they're going to take a look at the injured Pirate player. We'll take an injury timeout here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Pirates ready to go, 1st and 10 from their own 30. Saddleback in control early in the 3rd. Mitchell fakes the handoff, now starts to pick his way forward, out to the 35, falling forward for a gain of 6. Well, we talked about Patterson and the 100 yards last week. Mitchell went for 51 yards in the loss to Golden West College. So Pete Mitchell shows pretty good feet as well. In fact, they give him 7 yards. And joining us now on the broadcast, Saddleback College Athletic Director Dan Clausen. Dan, thanks so much for taking the time.
No, thank you for bringing me up.
Well, I know that there's a lot of excitement here for the Gauchos, and we'll start about talking about football moving forward next season. And there's a stadium in the works, putting it together as the ball is loose. Meanwhile, in a scramble for the football. And the Gauchos are going to say they have it. So let's wait and see. The whistles come in, and the Gauchos do. So an immediate turnover. And as the Gauchos go on offense, we'll watch the replay here before we get to talking about just a difficulty on the exchange. And the second turnover tonight for the Pirates gives it back to the Gauchos at the 35-yard line. But let's talk about what's moving forward here. Hopefully getting ready next season with a brand new stadium for this football program that's had so much success.
Oh, yeah, we're very excited about this project. It's $55 million, and we broke ground a while ago. We're all in the dirt right now. They're working on the electrical portion, and we're waiting for approval from DSA so we can move on the structural part. We're hoping to have it completed and ready to go by August.
Well, I'm sure we're all wondering about the press box primarily, but sounds like it's going to be a fantastic facility. Returning a little bit to this year, you know, we've been making the point in the broadcast here tonight that, a couple of weeks ago, it looked like the Gauchos were in a struggle this season, and we didn't know if they were going to turn the corner. But all of a sudden, a bye week, big victory last week. They look good tonight, and hey, this season's not over yet.
Oh, no, this is exciting. Started off really good in conference. Going down and playing Coach Carberry's team at Southwestern, always a good team to play. And to come out with a win at that field is very, very good, especially opening conference that way. And then obviously off to a nice start here. We could be 2-0 in conference, looking really good.
You know, Jeff, you talk about the press box. I'm just wondering if there's going to be restrooms at this new stadium. For so many years, you had to walk outside the stadium and go into the gymnasium just to go to the restroom.
Well, for $55 million, boy, I really hope it's on the table.
Maybe I'll have my own restroom. What do you think? Can you arrange that, Klaus?
I was like, first, yeah.
Well, speaking of press box, we do have something special going on. We have a Gaucho room we're building where we can host events overlooking the 50 and on the backside where we have our football practice fields and soccer field. So we got plenty of room for you, Brad.
Okay, good. Yeah. And we'll have plenty of food in there for you.
Oh, absolutely. I like the food.
And does the AD goes first rule, does that carry over into the new stadium as well?
It always does. Absolutely.
That's in the contract.
That's right.
Barry with the reception inside the 25 as the Gauchos move the chains. Well, now, how is the dealing, obviously, coming in here as the athletic director? And What's it like working with Mark McElroy in this football program, and what's that experience been like? He's been here and had a lot of success here over the last couple of decades.
Oh, it's to be able to come down and work with a future Hall of Fame coach like that is it's been unreal, and he runs an incredible program. And I had the great opportunity being an athletic director for Frank Mazzotta, the godfather at Cerritos, another future Hall of Famer. So I've enjoyed working with these types of coaches, but McElroy is a special coach.
Talk about some of the differences there. I mean, you spent quite a while at Cerritos, and now you come to Saddleback. Obviously, proximity is not that far, but culturally it's a little bit different. What are some of the differences, or is there really not that big a difference?
I think the recruiting's a little bit easier at Cerritos. A lot more high schools to recruit from. Down here is a little more sparse, but the recruiting's just a little bit different style. The offenses are different style, defense different style.
Play action. Patterson running out of room. And lobs this one incomplete.
I think the Gauchos are putting Kevin Brown at quarterback. It made a change. So we're up here talking all this.
Patterson has finished out his night, it would appear, as Brown gets an opportunity. But the Gauchos, after a fumbled snap earlier on the drive, it stalls back at the 27-yard line, and will we see Frame for what would be a 44-yarder?
Yeah, this is about his long distance that he can make it from here. He's got a pretty solid leg for a left-footed kicker, and it'll be interesting to see if he can put this one through the uprights.
Well, this will come from straight away. Left footer gets it down, plenty of leg. And it's good.
Yeah, that would have been good from about 55, I think.
Yeah, from 44 yards out, no problem. 7:35 to go in the third quarter. Saddleback now leading it 39-7 on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Freeman's 44-yarder gives the Gauchos a 39-7 lead.
And again, it's the special teams. I mean, that was a wonderful kick. Like we talked about, it looked like it would have been good from 55. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for Dan Kloss for stepping in here for a little bit and joining us on the broadcast. Done a great job so far since he's been at Saddleback, and he's not the biggest of talkers. He doesn't like to talk about himself, but I could see he was bustling with a lot of energy. That he was really happy to be up here in the booth and joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very exciting time, obviously, for the entire program. But that's got to be fun, getting a new toy like that for your football program. And I'm sure there's a lot of excitement around here. And I think a program that well deserves it. A lot of success in the area. Just done a great job, and a welcome upgrade, but one that I think is warranted and due the program.
You know, Brad, you do a great job with the Gaucho Sports Network, and getting awareness for that.
What was that? I didn't hear you. What was
the Gaucho Sports Network,
okay.
Headed by Brad Hoyseth. And well, you talk about recruiting tools at your disposal for your program, especially football. You talk about that new stadium. That's gonna turn a lot of heads.
Yeah.
You're investing that type of money in into your infrastructure athletically. It's going to do a lot for the school. A lot of events, great athletic events. Soccer, I think, is probably going to be played there as well. So a lot of things that you can do. And
so are you telling me there's going to be a recruiting bump for a program that has made a bowl game in 16 of the last 17 seasons? That's a scary thought for the rest of the SCFA. Yeah,
and there's going to be, I believe, 3 soccer fields, and they're going to have the track and field in there and the whole thing. And I think the plan is obviously to host CIF games and a number of different events that they can have. When you got an 8,000-9,000 seat stadium, there's a lot you can do with that.
Serafino with the carry, and a third down and short coming up as the Pirates shuffle in new players. 6:22 and counting Offset I formation. Down to 2 on the play clock. West has got to hurry. And he pushes the pile for a gain of about 3 yards. So a good push by West on the draw. And I got to tell you, Pirates catch a little bit of a break there. The play clock was clearly at 0.
Remember, it's a judgment call according to the NFL.
Before that was sounds like a guy who watched the Denver-Kansas City Monday night game a couple of weeks ago.
You betcha. Hey, I got Patrick Mahomes on my team.
Well, then that one worked out for you. You were okay with that. Not so bad.
It was a win.
Football resting on the Orange Coast 39. 1st and 10. Dual setbacks for West. Blitz coming. West under pressure, starting to scramble. Still on his feet. Now he's wrapped up. Loses about a yard back on the play. And the Gaucho pass rush relentless, and it was Mailangi who eventually got there.
Yeah, I guess you could say things went south for West on that one. I mean, the Gauchos just had 3-4 guys. Now, that's a bad joke right there, guys. I got to tell you. I came up with that 30 seconds ago, and I said, I got to get this in.
I disagree. That was pretty good. Offset I, 2nd and 11. Straight drop for West, setting up the screen. Lewis trying to ward off a tackler, takes a big hit, but spins off and falls forward out near the 48-yard line. That's very near first down yardage.
Jokes like that and more coming up on the Gaucho Sports Network in near future broadcasts for sure.
So good individual effort from Lewis, picking up 10 yards, and another 3rd and very short. Serafino and Lewis in the backfield. 3 wide receivers. Plenty of time on the play clock.
See if they just go right back to that same play they did last time when they had the quarterback sneak.
Well, they pitch it to Lewis, trying to string it out on the far side. He's tripped up. What a great job by Williams. Tripping up Lewis for a loss all the way back to the 43-yard line. That is a loss of 7 on the play.
Yeah, and Orange Coast is I think just kind of resigned to the fact that this one's over. They're just going to send the punter out there. I think if it was a 2 to 3 touchdown game, it might have been a different choice. But
what a job by Williams, fighting off that block and tripping up Lewis, who was trying to get the corner. Bad snap. Hard to say if this was a fake or just a bad snap, but it was Eisenpeeler out to kick that one. And he tried to get the corner, but he was brought down back at the 33-yard line, and that's where Saddleback will take over. And it might have been a fake, but as I watched the replay here, I think this might have just been a bad snap that he couldn't really get.
I think it was a fake.
Yeah.
And a poorly designed fake.
As I was watching the replay.
Poorly executed fake.
Yeah, as I was watching the replay, I'm going to amend my answer there because I think Eisenpeeler didn't even think about kicking that ball, and I think if he had wanted to, he might have still tried to see if he could get a kickoff, and instead he started running, and Pirates give up about 10 yards.
At this point, what do you have to lose? But this is special teams unit's been fantastic all night. We keep on mentioning their praises throughout this ball game. That's not one that's going to trick them.
Jefferson on the run on the right side.
Gauchos are the 3rd quarterback in the game now. They're going to Noah Melbon. Remember when we did the Mount Sac game, it got late and they just kind of switched off.
Yep.
At that time, I think they did every play. Now it looks like maybe they're going to go with the rotation every series of downs.
Melbon saw significant time over the first month or so of the season. Now Patterson has really settled in. But Melbon's numbers, he's 8 of 15 on the season, but he appeared in several of the first 4 games. Appeared in nearly every game.
Well, what I like is when the guys get in there this time of the game and they actually get to play with other first-string guys, And
has
that's
a
what
man
happens.
open. It was Berry, but the pass overthrown, and it was another Gaucho receiver running in the clear. But Melbon misfired, and now it's 3rd and 10.
That was there. No question about it. If
Absolutely.
that's on the money, it's 6 points.
Well, it was Maurice Norris who had the coverage. But I have to use the term coverage somewhat loosely because Berry was really in the clear by a good 5 yards. 3rd and 10. Melbon screens it out. Jefferson with a head of steam. He's got the first down and more. Inside the 20. down to the 16-yard line. I think that play is perhaps noteworthy, as that's about the first screen pass that I've seen work tonight for either team.
You don't see the Gauchos call out of screen plays, really. It's not a big part of the offense, but that one there was run pretty well. I mean, there wasn't a defender at home for a good 10 yards.
So the Gauchos back in the red zone late in the third, firmly in control. Read option, and Jefferson hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss on the play.
That's probably
Solerin on the stop.
That's probably the one play all night that hasn't worked for the Gauchos. They've run it about 2 or 3 times, that slow draw play, and every single time it seems like Jefferson's gotten hit behind the line of scrimmage.
Victor Solerin with the tackle. No gain on the play, and they give Jefferson, I think, a charitable spot to get back to the line of scrimmage. Snap to Melbon. On the roll. Dumps it short and completes. Jefferson makes a little move and then absorbs a massive hit.
Jefferson late with that cutback there.
From Ayala, chasing that play down and unloading on Jefferson. Modest gain on the play, maybe a yard or two. And watch here, going to get a good look at that hit as Ayala lowers the boom. 1 yard gain and a 3rd and 9 coming up.
See if Melbon can work the team into the end zone here and get himself on the stat sheet with a big touchdown.
Jerome Johnson in the backfield as they spread it out with receivers left and right. Now they'll empty the backfield. Melbon, straight drop, out in the flat to Johnson. Breaks one tackle, but he's tripped up inside the 10-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down.
Really nice move by Johnson right there, because it looked like they had him hemmed along the sidelines for a loss.
Yeah, watch the replay here. And see Johnson go one-on-one and almost win the battle.
Looks like the Gauchos are going to send the kicking unit back on.
And Freem will try this one from the right hash. This one will be from 31 yards out. No, excuse me, from 26 yards out.
Get your math right, Stoy.
That's it. High snap, but they get it down. Freem puts it up and through.
It's a good-looking kicker.
So Freem delivers again. Second field goal here in the third quarter. 45 seconds to go in the third. And Saddleback way out in front, 42-7 over Orange Coast on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Get a good look at Freem, who has it teed up. Here's the approach and the kick away. Well, they're going right back to Corey Smith from the 4. Again, trying to work to the far side. Has the edge. He's at the 25-30, picks up a block. He's out to midfield. Smith in a foot race down to the 35 and pushed out inside the 30-yard line. Noble finally ran him out of bounds.
Yeah, it's one of the first times all night long that the Gauchos special teams is kind of falling apart, and that's just a nice play by Orange Coast there, and give themselves a little excitement on their sidelines as well.
Well, we have seen some big plays on special teams in the Pirates this time. Able to get something going. They'll spot it at the 25-yard line. 71-yard return.
I think there's also a flag on the play, laying out around the 43.
Well, it was a big lane that ended up developing.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
Maybe at the end of the play there, maybe a little extracurricular.
15 yards, first down.
Well, this will interestingly be, if memory serves, just the Pirates' second foray into the red zone. They actually came up empty on their first trip, with an interception by Colton Larceville in the end zone. That was back in the first quarter.
Well, that's going to put the ball all the way down at the 12-yard line here for Orange Coast. So
chance for the defense to step up here.
that's very good starting field position. If you take that every time, you'd be a very successful football team, I believe.
The red zone scoring percentage is 55% for the Pirates. It's 22nd in the SCFA, so predictably it's been a bit of a struggle punching it in. And they go to the ground on first down and nothing doing. Lewis on the carry, and boy, Ahmad Lewis has had a tough night. It's been a physical night and not a whole lot of running room either.
Yeah, just not
in
a lot
between
there.
those big hits for
Came
Ahmad
in
Lewis.
with 387 yards rushing on the year. He had such a big game against LA Southwest in Week 4 at 182 yards rushing.
Yeah,
and really, I would be interested to see what his yards per carry are when you take that game out of the equation.
If you remove that game from the equation, certainly.
Last play marks the end of the third quarter with our score.
Third quarter draws to a close. We'll head to the fourth. Saddleback leading at 42-7 on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Start of the fourth quarter, and the Pirates have it deep in Gaucho territory, but the good news has been few and far between for the Pirates tonight. Not too many highlights coming in here against the Gaucho team that is getting it together, and maybe at just the right time. It's been a tough assignment for the Pirates.
Yeah, on the other side of the ledger, the Gauchos have had really nothing but big plays when you think about it.
Second down carry. A gain of maybe a yard or two as they go back to Lewis.
The only thing that's really set the Gauchos back all night long is a handful of penalties, really.
Yep.
They've had guys open downfield all day long, and sometimes they connected, sometimes they didn't, but when your wide receivers have got 2-3 steps on the guys that are covering them,
yep,
that's a tough way to live.
Sean Javier Rhodes in the game in the backfield for the Pirates as they face a 3rd and 10. West. Rainbows the near side. He was looking for Williams, and a late flag comes in.
You get the Gauchos for
sure
holding back there. I think
here.
it might have been before the pass was thrown.
See, maybe we had that on the field shot. I don't know if that was the field shot of the.
I don't think the coverage in the corner was any problem. I think it was maybe something more towards the middle of the field.
Yeah, that was Roberts on Williams, and that looked pretty clean. And have a little better angle here as we'll go down to Jorge's camera, and he's going to. I just picked it up a little bit late, but. Well, that had to have come well before the ball was thrown, and we didn't have quite a clear view of that, so we're not sure what happened maybe in the first few yards, but either way.
I think what they're saying is that the defender held the receiver before the ball was in the air, so it's a holding penalty against Saddleback.
So Roberts with the penalty. It's an automatic first down. So the Pirates now have it at the 7. 1st and 10, Lewis in the backfield. Send a man in motion. Lewis on the counter, bouncing off tacklers. Flags are down. No signal yet.
I think it's coming back.
They didn't signal a touchdown. Lewis got very close. It's down there near the goal line, but there is a flag down thrown in the backfield where you might expect to see holding. Let's see what the call is.
Yeah, it's a clear hold on the receiver.
Holding on the offense, number
15.
10 yards from the line of scrimmage. We'll repeat.
Good eyes, Michael.
First down.
I've had my days. This guy Isaiah Barnes, tight end.
Isaiah Barnes flagged for holding, so that takes the gain from Lewis off the board. Well, if that was about a 5-yard run by Lewis, that might have been his longest run of the night, if my memory is right.
Yeah, I thought he got in at first, but the referee said he was stopped short.
So 1st and goal now from the 16. Timeout taken before the snap. So Saddleback takes the timeout. That's their first charge timeout. 13:52 to go here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. First and goal after the Gaucho timeout for the Pirates. Football on the Gaucho 16-yard line. Now whistles before the snap. Well, you expect it to be a fairly fast quarter in terms of the score and the situation here, but not if we can't get it snapped without whistles.
Yeah.
Have a little trouble getting a playoff here.
Yeah, you would think that Saddleback would, once they get the ball back, probably be happy with just kind of get out of this thing without any big injuries or anything like that. There's a bigger fish to fry here coming up next Saturday, and it's a great time for them to get out and see Golden West tomorrow. Having this rare Friday game gives the Gauchos coaches an opportunity to go out and scout both those teams at once.
And what a big game that shapes up to be for Saddleback at Golden West next week. Grossmont having a tough season. They're winless so far, so if you look ahead a couple of weeks, have to expect that the Gauchos should be successful in that one, but get by Golden West. They head into the big matchup with Riverside, potentially with a chance to play their way into postseason play. And who would have thought, but talk about getting hot at the right time. Meanwhile, West on the scramble was able to just toss that one away incomplete, and it's 2nd and goal from the 16. West with a fake. He's in trouble. He's going to be sacked. Back at the 26-yard line.
Yeah, just too many guys there and not enough blockers. And now if you're Orange Coast, it's at this point clearly 4-down territory. See, he avoids the first guy, but the second guy gets him. And
Seth Bontrager.
More of a coverage sack than anything right there.
Able to wrap up West. It's a loss of 8. 3rd and goal now at the 24-yard line.
And just to think, at one point they were at about the 1-foot line.
A penalty and now a sack. West looking left, throwing into the end zone, incomplete.
I think they thought about throwing a flag, but it really just looked like there was incidental contact that resulted in the receiver tripping up.
Yeah, it looks like they got their feet tangled. I'm not sure it was a catchable ball regardless.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Looking for C.J. Williams. And the pass incomplete. Now it's 4th and goal from the 24, and we'll see Casper in a field goal try. Casper's 3 for 8 on the season, but his long's from 43, so he does have the leg to get it from here. This one will come from the left hash. Kick away from Casper, and it's good.
That thing just eked over the goalpost there by about 1.5 feet.
Yeah, we had like a 44-yard kick that would have been good from 54, and that was a 41-yard kick that would have been no good from about 41 yards and a foot, I think. But either way, Casper puts it through from 41 yards out, and the Pirates come away with points, 42-10, with 12:55 to go in the game. .55 to go. And the Gauchos will get it back. Friday night football here in the SCFA on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Happy you have chosen to spend some of your Friday night with us, watching the Gauchos continue their hot play of late. Another big return. Bama Smith out past the 35, brought down at the 37. More late flags, and
Flag.
Man, it's getting a little chippy down there. Seen an awful lot of flags at the tail end of plays or after plays.
And now I think another flag just came in. It happens at this level a lot.
Yeah.
You'll see it. You know, you get into these games that are pretty much over. It's 42-10, and tempers are hot, and guys get a little too excited. Sometimes guys don't know how to win,
Well, and
let alone know how to lose. You know, I always hear about the sore loser. Oftentimes there's a sore winner too. I mean, and that's just the game of football.
And in the immortal words of friend of the broadcast, Golden West coach Nick Mitchell, saying, "Hey, remember, these are 18-year-old kids."
That's right.
At the end of the day, you know,
What a great quote.
it's
A timeless quote.
yeah, it's a fundamental reality that I imagine all these coaches have to keep in mind.
I tell you, Nick Mitchell might be watching the broadcast right now, and if he is,
Yeah.
feel free to text me, Coach. We miss you.
When you talk about the proximity of these two schools, this is the closest school to Saddleback. And so these kids, a lot of these kids know each other.
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing for a long time. Then they might even gone to school together. They might have spent half the week lipping off at one another and just saying, "Hey, we're going to get you this weekend," and you get a little hot, you know.
So the official call now is offsetting penalties. But now, does that leave the question, is this going to be after the play and they're just going to leave it at the spot, or are they going to re-kick?
Looks like they're just going to leave it at the spot. Kevin Brown back in for the Gauchos now, so they are going with the change at quarterback every possession.
So Brown will get his chance. All right, chance here for Mark McElroy to really delve into his depth chart here a little bit and potentially get some game action.
And Kevin Brown had a nice little career at Capo Valley, the local high school right across the street from Saddleback, and then he went to Arizona State where he tried to walk on and play there, and that's tough. That's tough politics there as a walk-on football player trying to go and play in front of guys that are on scholarship. But generally speaking, doesn't work out. For every guy that it does work out, there's 150 guys that it doesn't.
Well, for the second time in as many possessions, Brown had some trouble with a fairly fundamental snap. That time he was able to get control and was able to scramble for a pickup of about 10 yards as we watch the replay. And you see there, that's a snap right to him. And I think Brown's just taking his eyes off it, but able to turn it around and make something out of it and get out near the first down marker. Brown.
Looks like we got Jake Cuero in the game at running back as well now for the Gauchos. A lot of new jerseys out there.
So Cuero, who started at the top of the depth chart. Brown down the middle, completes the pass. Inside the 30 down to the 25-yard line.
That's a heck of a play by Eli Jefferson to hang on to that thing, because you had to know going down that seam, somebody's going to come and hit you.
Yeah, Jefferson with a great job holding on to the football now. Read option. Brown dragged down at the line. Maybe a loss on the play. I got back to the line. So a second down and 10 coming up. Castillo with the stop.
Oh.
Well, you get a sense, too, as we go back to the play before, and See why Brown ended up at Arizona State even as a walk-on. Pretty good pass right down the middle.
Yeah.
A bullet right on the mark.
He's got really good size, too. He's a big kid, about 6'3".
Second down and 10. They fake to Cuero. Brown on the keeper. Well executed read option.
That is textbook read option right there. Great job by Brown.
And watch the hit that Cuero ends up having to take on this play. As they sell it well and Cuero gets crushed. But the ball is well over here.
Well executed right there.
So Brown able to pick up the first down and more. Down to the 9-yard line, where it'll be first and goal.
Brown, a.k.a. Houdini.
Jefferson on the jet sweep around the edge, cuts it back. He's at the 5, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, and he's in for a touchdown.
He's a tricky guy. You get him in the open field, and he's a tough guy to get with just one player out there, and it was really just one guy between him and the end zone, and it looked like he might have him wrapped up around the ankles, but he couldn't keep him.
Take a look at the replay, trying to get the edge, and just a little cut there, and then the strength. You see to run out of that tackle. Eli Jefferson finishes it off, and perhaps that is fitting.
I think we got dead ball against the Gauchos after the play. They're saying the touchdown's good, but...
Well, it was Jefferson's catch that really spurred that drive, got them into Pirate territory, and then it was Jefferson that finished it off. 9-yard touchdown run, 48-10. Here comes Freem, who's had a busy night. 10:49 to go.
Timeout. Saddleback.
Timeout taken by Saddleback, and I think at this point you would hope, for any number of reasons, that both coaches might be imploring their players to just try to settle down here and let's just finish this one off, because we're starting to see a spate of personal foul calls, and it's frankly, there's just a little lack of discipline, I think, on both sides for this to continue to happen.
Yeah, I would suspect that that might have been part of the reason the timeout was called. I mean, I think if you're the coaches, the last thing you want to do is have somebody say something or do something where, you know, they're not eligible to play next week.
Yeah.
I mean, you just want to avoid any really ridiculous things that could happen. And Orange Coast is in a, you know, they're not in a similar situation. They're, at this point, the season's kind of a loss, moving on 1-6, and you know, those guys have a different mentality. When you're 1-6 versus somebody that's going to be 4-3 that's got bigger games to play down the road.
Just got to be smart.
Man, I always wonder from a standpoint. It strikes me as funny from a Saddleback perspective in this game. You know, you're winning by 38, 39 points here. I mean, at some level, just look at the scoreboard here. Let's just keep playing football. You know, you're getting the better of it here. And have to continue to play into this whole thing and keep on picking up personal foul calls. And I suppose that's easier said than done than being in the heat of the game down on the field.
You can cue up that Nick Mitchell quote.
If only we had that on audio. I really feel like it's something we could just have in the player.
You missed an opportunity there, Star.
just to do it.
Well, and they also got new players in the game now, so they want their 15-yard penalty. You know, they're going to come in, hey, it's my turn now. Yeah. Let me get my 15.
I've been waiting to get in here and talk a little, and so the Gauchos, after the touchdown run by Jefferson, will have the penalty assessed, and they'll kick this one off from the 20. So perhaps we can look, Michael, if you get a chance, or we'll see what are some of the marquee matchups tomorrow as we look ahead to the SCFA.
Well, there's a marquee matchup tonight, but I couldn't find a score on it up north. Laney is hosting San Mateo, and which was a really critical match in that league. If Laney wins that, they'll have beaten San Francisco and San Mateo, and San Mateo would have 3 losses. If you forget, San Mateo was in the championship game last year, and at one point during this season, they were ranked #1 in the state, and things kind of falling apart for the Bulldogs.
Short kick taken at the 16. Purnell at the 20. Flags come in on the return. Purnell tripped up at the 25.
Probably the biggest one for the Gauchos tomorrow is that Riverside Golden West game. I mean,
that'll be one to keep an eye on, certainly for Gaucho fans.
Golden West is a tough out. I mean, They lost to Fullerton by 1 point, and they seem to be in every game.
Looks like, according to David Silverstein, there's an issue with the live scoring up there, so that's the reason why we don't see it on the website.
Well, if there's an issue with the live scoring, then we know that David Silverstein is not there.
No, that's a fact.
Because if he were there, there would be no issue.
Well, that game's being played at Laney, and I don't know if you've ever been to that campus before, but
we have not. We haven't had that pleasure.
We have not had the pleasure.
Right. Well,
would you not call it a pleasure?
Yeah, that.
Is that what you were trying to allude to?
Is that
I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word.
The diplomatic answer would not characterize it as a pleasure.
Yeah, Riverside Golden West tomorrow. On our schedule, College of the Desert at Antelope Valley. ELAC at Canyons.
That's a good game right there.
Yeah, it is. Moore Park at Ventura.
Serafino running left.
Watch out for that.
Perhaps a yard.
East LA Canyons game. That one has got the potential for some surprise there.
Yeah, well, Canyons playing with a backup quarterback, starting quarterback for the Canyon Cougars.
Andrew Brito is
Andrew Brito is out. Not necessarily in terms for the season, but Wyatt Egan, backup quarterback, going to get the start. He's played very well. Still undefeated as Canyons on the season.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Uh-oh.
Shocker.
Gage Roberson now picking up a unsportsmanlike penalty, and that is surprising. Gage Roberson, one of the leaders of this defense, a leading tackler and one of the overall leaders, captains of the defense, and picking up a penalty there in that situation, up 39 points. But that is the direction it has gone, so it takes it out to the 32-yard line.
I think it might be about time for the Gauchos to get some of those guys out of the game and get some new jerseys out
West
there.
Under pressure on the run, takes a big hit from Larceville.
No reason for Larceville and Robert. Now there's more flags coming in now, and I think it's just time to take some of these guys aside and say, okay, your night's over.
Well, I didn't see anything in particular on that play. I mean, West was running. He didn't attempt to make any slide or affect himself. He was running the football as Bradley and Larceville were giving chase.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 52.
Yeah, it could be something that was maybe said after the play that got into the ear of an official.
Well, this is going to go against Orange Coast, so it's not any of the Gaucho players that were involved in that play.
A couple more sneaky games tomorrow. El Camino at Mount Sac. El Camino has had a couple of bright spots this season, if memory serves. Also, San Diego Mesa at Cerritos.
I think that Mesa-Cerritos game is an interesting one, too, because Cerritos, traditionally speaking, has been 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I think the problems that Cerritos has had over the years is that they keep too many games close.
Yeah.
And it's tough to make a run against good football teams when all your games are close. And Mesa is a much improved football program. To me, that's a closer football game than maybe some people might think.
Well, with Cerritos' running game this year, it's really more 5 yards in a cloud of dust, as they are led by Stevenson and his nearly 178 yards a game.
He's a special player.
On the ground. Short carry. And the Pirates now face a 3rd down and very long. They need the 43-yard line for a 1st down.
I was under the impression this was going to be a quick quarter of football right here.
Well, I think we should just bask in the glow that there's no flag down, I believe, on that last play.
Yeah, they're crushing our data usage. Come on, guys.
Don't they know that we're wireless up here?
More flags. Too much time, I believe. Maybe delay a game.
Yeah.
Up is number 5, 5 yards.
Well, make it 3rd and 27.
Saddleback with some new jerseys in the game now. Seems out there it's safety, I believe 20. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Curtis Jackson.
Curtis
in the
Jackson
game.
Out there.
West in all kinds of trouble. Hit as he throws, and the ball incomplete. Nothing doing on that play, and 4th down and long will bring on the punting unit.
Yeah, there wasn't a wide receiver within 25 yards of that pass.
Yeah, only black jerseys. Watch West immediately in trouble. And the Gauchos have been able to generate pressure without doing a whole lot of blitzing tonight, and that's been certainly part of the defensive success that they've had overall.
Yeah, they were trying to see if that was going to be intentional grounding. They did say that he was outside of the tackle box, and the ball did get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Gauchos should have very good field position here again, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the 50s here real soon.
Elson Peter on the punt. And Romy Innocenzi waits back at midfield. Innocenzi already had a big return back in the first half, setting up a Gaucho touchdown. As his return took it all the way to the Pirates' 7-yard line. Johnson eventually punched it in. High kick on the far side, out of play. The Gauchos are going to come out of this with outstanding field position, well into Pirate territory.
Yeah, it's another somewhat sideways punt there by Orange Coast. They've had their struggles here tonight in the special teams.
It's going to be a kick of 25 yards, and it's going to leave the Gauchos with the ball at the Orange Coast 41-yard line. 8:40 to go, and well, the way that Freem has looked kicking field goals tonight, I think you're dead on there. The Gauchos at 49. They are looking at a good chance at being 50+. Not their first trip for 50+. I believe, if memory serves, they went over 50 in the victory against Pasadena.
51-21, if my memory serves me correct.
Noah Melbon.
I'm sure it does. It's better than ours.
Yep. Melbon at quarterback. Flags are down. Looking for Coates on the slant.
Flag on play.
Pass incomplete, but let's see what the flag is.
Offside on the offense, number 29.
I'm saying offsides on the offense.
That's an odd call right there.
I didn't know that was possible.
5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Incorrectly
It just became possible.
Well, apparently when there's a whistle, there's a way.
Tell you, the way the play has been tonight, Orange Coast at this point, I'm going to think about not even taking that penalty if they had the option, taking the incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 might be better than 1st and 15. Either way, Melbon will go back to work with receivers left and right.
Should have been a false start.
Play action, Melbon on the run. Brought down after a gain of about a yard.
New running back in the game for the Gauchos, Jordan Bua.
And just as quickly as that happens, here comes Cuero to replace Bua.
I always like to see Bua out there. He's a guy from Italy. I mean, guy came all the way over here from Italy, and now he's trying to play football, and I always find those stories kind of interesting.
Any more backstory with Bua?
None. Likes pizza? I don't know. Spaghetti?
Probably makes him mean spaghetti.
He could tell you whether the marinara sauce is good or not. Really no. Offset I formation. Cuero with a little cut has a lane. Quickly closed. He's down to the 42, a gain of about 4.
Gauchos now just running the football, and 7:40 left. Let's see if they put it in the air here at 3rd and 11.
Our hotspot appreciates it.
Third down.
Melbon facing a 3rd and 11. As receivers left and right. 7:20 and counting to go in the game. Well, hold on to your hats, guys. There's some whistles.
67 in the offense. 5 yards. Remains third down.
Well, the two teams combined for 12 penalties in the first half, and that number has gone way up here in the second half. It's not a great sign when the stat you're most interested to see at the end of the game is how many yards and penalties did these two teams combine for.
Well, I've seen some games where there was a humiliating number at the end, and this one is nowhere near that because it was a fairly clean first half, but I've seen some games that, you know, when you think about it, they've lasted 3 hours and 20 minutes with no commercials. I mean, at this level, you can get some humdingers that might have 30 or 32 penalties, and those things can last a while.
Quick
last
throw
year,
and a completion.
We had a game, I want to say, was it 6 overtimes last year, Story? Antelope Valley, either 4 or 6. A lot of overtimes, a lot of penalties.
Wasn't there a long game at East Los Angeles College, one of the games last year or something? I remember there was one game where we were pretty well driving home from from the game that we had done, and they were still going. Or Jay Holloway and Matt Henson out there somewhere, and they were. Well, didn't they have a game that was about an 80-70 final score or something like that in one of their games last year?
Something incredible.
Look that up, and you can get some long games after the short completion to Harden. The Gauchos will now punt it away. Avila with a high kick. Fair catch signaled for and made at the 17-yard line.
That's a nice high-hanging kick there by Avila.
Yeah, only 22 yards, but really gets the job done.
Another nice special teams.
Yeah, it's a
play
lost
from
art.
Saddleback, yeah.
You know, I always wonder, as a kid growing up in the 70s and started watching football, they always used to do the coffin corner kick.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always wonder whatever happened to that coffin corner kick. Now you just see guys blast it down the middle and they try to get the ball down inside the 5. And I always thought the coffin corner was a very effective play.
Yeah, it was a very good play. Although if you kick in the middle of the field, you could potentially get a fumble. You can't really, I guess you can't really get that with the coffin corner. So
it just seems to me like
Yep.
oftentimes they just kick in the end zone, they end up getting it at the 25. And
yeah.
I never understood the logic in that.
West at the controls, completes the pass on the far side to the 20-yard line. Conway with the reception.
Well, looking forward, I know that you guys obviously have a passion for this level of football, as do I. And
does that mean you're going to be in our fantasy league next year, our SCFA fantasy league?
No, I won't. I won't.
We're trying to put
I'm not
together?
that passionate about it, but
He can be our commissioner.
I'm trying to figure out what do you guys think's going to happen from here on out? Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's tough to say. I know. I mean, we don't like to harp on negative press, but there is a cloudy situation with regard to the playoff situation in the South. For those that follow the SCFA, we don't need to get into schools, but I think people are well aware of that. And who knows? I think right now Canyons and Ventura make a name for themselves. I think right now Riverside's really the team to beat. And Mount Sac could be, that sneaky team. They seem to always creep up on you.
Yeah.
Saddleback got a very good look from them. Then they get shut out versus Chafee earlier in the year. So, I mean, go figure. You talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I think by the end of the year, this year, from what I've seen, I have a feeling it's going to be a team like Mount San Antonio College, one of those teams that they seem to be getting it together now, and there's no shortage of talent. I feel like there's going to be a vacuum. Someone's going to step into that vacuum. Somebody's going to get hot at the right time and be the team to beat, I think. But I think to the point that you've been making as well, I think every team's beatable right now.
I'm going to go with Mike. I think Riverside's the team to beat. I think they have the best quarterback. And I think when you get down the stretch, you have to have guys that can make plays in big games in key situations. And, I just believe – I think despite the fact that they lost to Fullerton, I still think they're a better team than Fullerton.
Yep.
And I don't know who's that sneaky team that could maybe jump up and get them. If that's – Canyons, to me, appears to be a team that has really good defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can go a long ways with that. And Ventura – we talked about it in our last broadcast. The Ventura's biggest problem is always Ventura.
Yeah.
They run into Ventura, and they seem to get in their own way.
Up 8 versus Fullerton earlier in the year.
Well, I'll tell you, the winner of that Ventura Canyons game, if that team ends up winning the North, and that certainly seems to be the way that it will shake out, that team may get to host a game or two, and this may be the year that you end up seeing one of those teams. Another completion over the middle. Conway with the catch into Gaucho territory. The Pirates matriculating the ball down the field in the vernacular of the late, great Hank Stram.
I think we got our eyes on all of the teams that are the favorites, and then I think you got your next group. You got your Saddlebacks, you got your Golden West, and maybe Cerritos or something along those lines.
I think if there was a team before last week that would have been in this conversation, would have been Southwestern. And then they bit of a goose egg last week versus Saddleback. Saddleback caught them slipping.
Yeah. Just went in there and really dropped the hammer, and that is a real head-scratcher of a result because Southwestern had been playing very good football, and the one loss on the season had been a very, very close loss to Fullerton. Certainly that's not something that you would think would have them particularly down or losing in confidence. And
another team that I thought has had a couple of tough losses is Long Beach City because they've been in every game. And just
outside of the Riverside game.
Yeah, the Riverside game got away from them. West with nowhere to go. Hit and dropped. Did manage to get it down to the 32, a pickup of a couple, and third down now and 4.
Shout out to Brett Peabody of Long Beach City College, friend of the program here at SoCalCollegeSports.com, and just a terrific head coach. He's really put them on the map there.
He did a great job when he's at LA Harbor.
He really did. Yeah.
West brings the Pirates to the line, 3rd and 4. Quick throw, and it's dropped. have to expect that we'll see 4-down territory. Pass on the money to Riley. Devin Riley can't find the handle.
Managed to get through 6 or 7 plays without a yellow hanky, which is maybe the best news we've had in the last half hour.
Down to 2:25 to go in the game, and the Pirates is trying to finish it out on a high note if they can. The Gauchos, carrying over from the big win last week, have been dominant again here tonight, leading at 49-10.
Well, you know, momentum is big, and if you can get it going down the stretch, you can climb mountains. And you know,
another drop, and this will give it back to the Gauchos, and that is a disappointing end to what has certainly been a disappointing night. But the Pirates with back-to-back drops on 2 balls that should have been caught for first downs, and instead now the Gauchos should be able to run it out.
Brad, wanted to ask you real quick before we start our thank yous. What have you heard about the playoff situation, how that might shape out, given that a team that's probably going to win the division won't be in the Final Four? Who does that open up the door for?
Well, I think that whole league is kind of up for grabs now. I mean, who's going to win if Fullerton is indeed banned from the postseason and whatnot? I mean, who is going to be the team that's going to represent that league? I think that's a critical thing we're going to find out.
Now, is second place in the league, are they now the first place team that will represent the SCFA in the Final Four?
Well, there's going to be some forfeits in there. So it's just a matter of, I believe, time before that takes place, and I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Right.
There is an appeals process and all this kind of stuff that should go down, and I wish we had time to get Jim Sartoris on the phone here and have him straighten it all out. But people were sent an email about a week and a half ago and said this is kind of what's going on, and if it goes through, there's going to be some forfeited games, and so that'll shift the standings themselves.
Cuero's got the first down after the good run on first down by Bua.
I think the most disappointing thing is that they're facing forfeiting all their games from last year. So that would mean a national title, a state title, all that kind of stuff, which,
very unfortunate.
That's something that stings a little bit.
Well, very similar shades of what we saw with Bakersfield. I believe that was 2012.
Yeah, something like that.
So somewhere in that window, just an unfortunate series of events. But, it's next man up here in the SCFA, and who does that benefit? It's going to benefit a couple people who maybe otherwise would have been shut out, and now you have to be ready. And right now, it looks like Saddleback's going to be 2-0 in conference play.
It does, and we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. They kind of hold the cards. If they keep winning, they're gonna represent their league in the playoffs.
Yeah, bear in mind that if memory serves, Riverside not only has the game with Golden West, but they still, I believe, have to play Southwestern, who's been a tough opponent this year. So the Gauchos may, certainly if they can keep winning, they have their destiny in their own hands, but maybe they'll even have that advantage as well. We'll have to keep an eye. It's really opening up. Let's pass along some thank yous as the Gauchos are running it out now. We want to start, obviously, let's start with our camera people tonight. Jorge Zepeda, Turner Knight, both helping out on camera. Really appreciate their help as well. Obviously, Brad, thanks to standing in and joining us here tonight. Great pleasure to have you. I want to thank everybody here at Saddleback College, of course. Tony Lippold, Dan Kloss, thanks for helping give us the opportunity to put this together and bring Saddleback football to you. Mike, who else you got? We want to thank Matt Henson.
Matt Henson,
as always,
on graphics.
all the graphics you ever see here, all done by Matt Henson, a very talented guy, and we really appreciate all
Jerry
the help.
Jerry Handler giving us some statistics and keeping us informed.
And keeping us fed. Quite the culinarian, Jerry Hanula.
Yeah.
Always handles the halftime
Nobody makes
buffet.
a sloppy Joe like Jerry.
Or it's a sloppy Jerry, if you will.
That's what he calls it.
Oh, now that's a poor joke there.
Well, hey, tip for tat.
Yes.
Tip for tat, my friend.
And perhaps a fitting way to finish it. Final score 49-10 Saddleback with the emphatic win. They moved to 4-3 on the season. Check out our website, www.socalcollegesports.com. We've got 3 more games in the SCFA coming tomorrow night. For everybody involved here at socalcollegesports.com, I'm Jeff Stoynoff. So long from Saddleback College.
Your attendance and support of these programs